It came in a...
It was a loot crate.
Loot crate.
Oh, yeah. Loot crates. I forget about loot crates. Oh, what is that?
Did you bring Andy's mints? What's that? Oh.
That was a thing.
I thought you had like a little collective after dinner, like
Oh, this is so good.
the ones that they leave in your pillow.
Yeah.
I was at a hotel once, and I came back from a baseball game, and I thought I came in through a different door. I was like, they've got like hot coffee and chocolate and cider and donuts and shit. Why didn't they have this at the front door? So I'm like stuffing my face, and I got 2 cups. I walk up to my room, and like, I don't remember my room being over here. And like, I get my key out, and I'm trying to swipe it. It's not working. It's not working. It's not working. And then like, somebody at the room next door is like looking at me, and they swipe their key, and I'm like, their key looks different. It's orange.
Oh, yeah.
This is not my hotel. So I walk down, grab a few more donuts, try to find my way back to my own hotel. It's great.
What is...
Huh?
Spent 2
Yeah,
hours trying
please.
to get a drunk friend back to his room. Couldn't figure out what it was.
Just you
I
know
know
what
what I
door to
like.
door.
My friend in New Haven,
It's a test.
her boyfriend was out of town, so we were just crashing his pad because it was nicer than hers. Well, we go out drinking, and she gets sloshed.
It was
And I'm
a
like,
chocolate
okay, give me the
vanilla.
keys, I'll drive home. Well, in the first place, her car had no power steering. It's like 3 in the morning. I'm trying to figure out this car that, you basically have to take every ounce of power to get the wheel to turn. And then she didn't remember where his apartment was. And we drove around for like an hour in this car with no power steering.
Oh yeah,
With
and
her
that's not
drunk.
easy.
No, she was so drunk she didn't know where we were. And I'm like, I've been there once. It took us about an hour, but we found it.
There was a kid on my floor freshman year that came to college and never had anything to drink. So of course he gets slobber knocker the first time he goes out.
Yeah,
Slobber
that's a
knocker.
good word.
We were pouring him into his bed, right? We get him past the RA, who's like, maybe we'll talk about this later, but like, just get him to sleep. And the guy who helped me get him home was like, I'm gonna go have a cigarette. And I was like, okay, I'll shoot the shit with you for a little bit, we'll talk. And on the ends of the floor were these 2 study rooms with ceiling to floor screen doors that you could open. So we're out, and it's like 3 in the morning, and we see one of the lights go on. Like, who's out? Like, who's up studying now? And then we hear crash, crash, and we see this foot kick the screen door out of its frame. And this figure leans out and tries to throw something over, and then falls out the window. So we run over, and it's the guy we just poured into bed, who had tried to make a rope out of blankets to let himself down so he could go out and continue drinking. Luckily, he fell into some bushes because drunks have all the luck. Not a mark on him. We grab him again, and we're walking him back to his room, and the RA's like, we just did this. We're definitely talking tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's good. Alright. We're all here. We're all settled. Did everybody get
Dedicated.
Roland's bag of holding list?
Yes.
Magical, mystical bag of holding.
Yes. I'm going to put all this into a spreadsheet. Because I like keeping everything online. But it's nice to have it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Because I had no idea it was in there. That's a lot of money.
We have a lot of money. That's not even my promissory note from the fight for bidding on it.
Your promissory note?
Yeah, we had this big battle, a big like gladiator fight.
Yeah, there's a lot of money.
Oh, you're talking about a different promissory note. You can keep on.
I have.
We're really going to find somebody to rob y'all at some point.
I have somewhere in here. I've got how much was in my promissory note.
I would love to see somebody try to like rip the promissory note out of what I can only assume is the metal child's pneumatically closed hand.
Or like a small compartment somewhere in the
He
avenue.
just like taps his chest and it like opens up.
Needs some grease. Alright. Okay. When we last left off, what were we doing? You had all been dropped off by your new ancient black dragon friend.
Who we just listened to.
It's a word.
Isar, who had given you some information, not all of which you are sure whether to believe, I guess?
I believe it.
Believe all of it? Including that your platinum dragon friend might not be as above board as you think. As well as that large changes are coming in the world, and please take care of my child in egg form and all this. But she dropped you off, flew off after turning Roland into a duck. For
Deserved it.
You did deserve it. But there you are before these huge 20, 25 foot tall stone doors on this cliff face that partially propped open, carvings around them in this archaic form of Elvish. Standing there, it's very cold. Even though it's early spring, at this altitude, it's definitely still winter. There's blowing snow around, and it is not a very inviting place for most of you. Although, Crom, you're comfortable enough here.
Yes, nice.
This is a cherry spring day for you. All right, what would y'all like to do? Are we heading in right away, or?
Before we go in, I just want to clarify that I'm not going to be making any deals with the law.
We just need to we need to get that sweet loth silk, and
I'm just saying, it's kind of going to probably be like you shoot on sight for that one.
Yep.
Yeah, there is a warrant out for her, dead or alive, and I'm choosing the dead.
I
Because I
think
hate
she
her.
feels the same way.
yeah, there's also warrants out for us.
Well, for you, I'm fine.
Nope. You're part of us now.
Every time I talk to you guys, I find out something else new. It's very hard to feel like I belong. But I mean, that's all. We are ready to go if you are.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
Kill the spider.
I guess we're just. I mean, we keep on getting stuff for Usu's big spell, and what was it? Ignore what the Black Dragon said about him, or
I thought it was quite the opposite. To keep that very aware of.
but I mean,
Then why are we here?
yeah, we're here to get the silk.
We still want to
Right.
make that weapon. We just
If it's a
possibly whatever he wants everything for. We still want all of it. We just maybe don't want to give it to him when it's ready, unless we
He
find
already has a
out.
lot of it.
Yeah. Well.
We can do a search and rescue mission.
I
for
just
it.
don't know who to trust anymore.
There's no way to tell
Chelsea's so confused.
from the,
I can ask my
we could
person.
I could ask to
Chomsky's feeling unsure about something
I
for the
don't
first
need
time in
to
his
spell
life.
lettering.
Oh,
He's very
that's even
uncomfortable with
better.
this.
Is there any way you could use your magic to see if he can listen on that coin he gave you? Because again, that would be like if we're like trying to be really sneaky and he was just listening to us the whole time.
Like
that would
if we
be
could turn it on remotely and
Yeah.
just.
it would be something we might want to be aware
I
of.
Hmm.
Be
believe.
carrying Alexa around with
I'm
us
watching
from time
Tim's
to time.
face to see if anything happens.
You just keep hearing that little.
I mean,
I feel like.
according to the list, it's in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
So what to do with that? What you will.
So I think if it's in the bag of holding, it's like it's essentially in another dimension.
It's inert.
You know,
Okay,
so
okay.
I don't think it can. As long as the bag's not open or it's not out of the bag, I think we're cool. Otherwise, I think an identify spell would probably tell me like all the things that
Facets
it
of
can
it.
do. But as long as we keep it in the bag.
Yeah, maybe kind of ixnay, loose lips, sink ships when we have it out. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also, if you're willing to, I don't think it would be the worst thing to see if I can shed a little light on the situation.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. You
Okay.
go to commune with
I'll ask-
Ayun and to find out is what the Black Dragon told us the truth, and or can is Usu
Trustworthy?
trustworthy?
Well, that's kind of vague
Yeah.
because it can only say yes or no.
Anybody can tell the truth.
Does
sometimes.
Usu serve the Tiamat? Yes or no? That's
What
it.
if it's no? Could Usu still be bad if the answer is no?
Okay, how
Very
about
possibly.
how about you get how many? 3? One question could be,
Is Trample Stamp still around?
That's a good question.
I'm going to lean over to Sirthis and say, what is this tramp stamp?
Trample
Oh, stamp. That's stamp.
It's my warhorse.
the warhorse that got left when we came to the Underdark the first time, we left Trample Stamp outside because we said, we'll be right back.
I'm sure he was delicious.
So ask,
Well, I was thinking,
How was tramp stamp?
ask,
Like.
yeah, when I imagine Crom going to commune with Ioun, I imagine like every time the 3 questions get used up with frivolous like
I do like
So,
the idea that
how's
she
it
comes in with
going?
flashcards to make sure like these are what we ask.
the questions are like, are you doing all right, Ioun?
What's new with you?
What's happening? Yeah,
You seeing anybody? How are your kids?
and then poof, that was the 3. No, so what about asking if the device or the spell, if like these things that were
ritual or
the
whatever.
ritual that we're collecting items for Usu, is that gonna do what he said? Like, is it a weapon against the
The
chained oblivion, or
Well, it's
something
chained
along those
now.
lines?
Well, we thought it was chained. Is it still chained? That's a
Is it going to
question.
do what he said it was going
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Is it a good thing for us to help him build
do?
this?
Is this something we should
Yeah,
still be
that's-
working towards?
something along those lines?
Okay. It's
I'll let
like,
Crom figure it out.
Also,
It's genie rules, you know, like you have
as
to.
far as it being chained, you did learn that your sword is one of the anchor points
Oh, okay, so as long as
of its
not-
chains. So as long as your
Right.
sword still exists,
We also learned that something opened and something came into the world.
something did open and something did come into the world.
Okay.
We didn't feel great about it.
Is
Most of you did not feel great about it.
like the ingredients we're collecting for the thing. What is it? Is it a ritual or is it a
I think
device?
it's a ritual that makes a weapon. If my understanding, which is obviously suspect.
Usu called it what did he call it? The betrayer's shackles.
Yeah.
It's supposed to bind a betrayer god.
He called it a sling blade. Some people call it a Kaiser blade, but he calls it a sling blade.
Taters.
That was for the Twitch. Send us money.
Give me some of the diggins.
No, I gotta say it's funny. It's French fried taters.
French fry taters.
I haven't seen that movie in so long.
That's a good reference.
It's a good reference.
Okay, so
I almost went with keep.
is this weapon
It's good.
actually intended to bind the Unchained Oblivion? Because that's what the Black Dragon said that he wasn't, right?
Well, the Black Dragon said he shouldn't be trusted.
And that he serves Tiamat.
He served Tiamat.
And I think from that we kind of extrapolated
That
well, if he's no good, what is
Yeah.
this thing that he has us doing?
And also that he's much older than he appears to be.
Old as fuck.
So who
About
is him really?
oh,
Yeah.
like maybe he dragon?
I mean, I've been duped twice before with
Yo,
this.
if he's a consort to Tiamat, that's bad news bears.
So
Like maybe he dragon,
Maybe he dragon.
platinum dragon or something.
White dragon.
ooh.
No, I don't know if he would be a platinum dragon and serve. I mean,
Okay,
I
well
could be
he's
wrong.
posing as
Why's it gotta be a white dragon?
Because I feel like he looks like Gandalf.
in your mind's eye.
In my mind, I
Gandalf the
think
White.
he's Gandalf.
Happy belated.
Is what I imagine.
Please, let me move.
So
As
In
he
my mind's
served
eye, he
Tiamat.
looks like a very overworked
I think
DMV
he,
of
I think he
of-
dragon. I think he dragon.
I mean,
Is that one of our questions?
is he a dragon? I mean,
No.
Ioun, he dragon.
Dragon
Maybe
D's
that is
nuts.
a statement.
He dragon.
Oh, Ioun, you got me. You got me.
I can't believe I wasted a question on that.
No, don't ask if he
Okay,
dragon,
so
but I think
Is
he
the
dragon.
things that we're collecting
Well, I mean, if we can't come up with another question.
actually intended to bind the chain? The
Mhm.
Yeah.
chain. Unchained.
As you all are discussing this,
Oh, God.
you
Oh, yeah, we're just
you
standing
have
outside
heard-
the doors of the
You have
Underdark.
heard this kind of like clacking tapping start, and if any of you look over, you see
Knock it off. We're talking.
the metal child.
Oh
just, like,
yeah, yeah.
on his little typewriter in his lap as he's kind of squatting down, and eventually he looks at the
does he have a good
paper
idea?
and hands it over to you.
Thank you, Metal Child. Is it in Draconic?
It is in Draconic.
Oh, good. You're a good boy. What does it say?
It says, "What are we? How are we dealing with the Spider Lady?" Is what it says.
Look, your guess is as good as mine. I'm pretty sure she's going to find us, and then it's probably going to go from there.
Takes the
I
paper
guess
back
we
and puts it
should-
in and starts typing.
What is her weakness? Everything has a weakness.
How is there anything we can do?
Can we banish her? Or
To-
she's already in a different.
we
Yeah,
have to go
because the
with
demon
her
white
will.
pits are in like its own thing, right?
I mean, it's in one of the layers of hell.
Yeah.
One of the 9 layers.
Which is a
Yeah.
different dimension.
I mean, my
Yes,
plan.
yeah.
My plan was for us to go back to where we met her the first time. in
Is
that
this a
big
good idea?
thing.
That's good.
I mean, yes.
If we're
If
just,
you remember, there was a throne that you had to channel magic into, and it crossed over the plains in that one spot.
that's how we met
As
her the
long
first
as
time.
the throne was active.
And
So unless she
we
finds us
saw
before then.
webbing and stuff.
Oh yeah,
We
you
feel
saw
we could-
lots of
yeah.
spiders, lots of webbing.
There were there zombie fighters in the halls that we had to go
That
through.
was in one of the halls leading up to it.
Yeah.
And there was a
Gelatinous cube or something.
puzzle-ish thing to figure out to get through the door,
That's
and then there was a gelatinous cube you had to fight.
Maybe she'll just come to us.
I really think she's
I
going
have
to
one
come
more
to us.
question.
She's already tried.
After quickly typing again,
Oh yeah,
the
that's
metal
right.
child
She's
hands
been
you back,
contacting us
and it
at
says,
that point.
sneak or fight.
When do we ever
probably
sneak
the first
or
one
fight?
up until that doesn't work.
Sneak, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we can get this silk and
I don't think we're going to sneak into hell.
And you
Okay.
can see their hands are kind of like he's obviously anxious, like just listening.
Listen, speaking of that, in Draconic, if things go bad, if I die, you leave.
Because you're my backup character. I mean,
No. You figure out how to get back to Brambog, and you get that temple going.
Okay, last
I mean,
question.
Brog should
What
be
do y'all
getting it
have?
going.
Does
Yeah,
Usu serve
It's
TMS?
not really.
I got that
well,
down.
maybe
Yeah,
we
it's pretty
can.
nice and to the point.
I'm concerned that we can't even cut the web.
well,
don't wanna
I
be
think
there
Some
and
of this,
get
some of this
stuck.
will depend on what Ayun says when she goes and talks to Ayun. Like she might say, like, "Oh, we don't need to get the spider silk at all."
I would
True that.
also just hazard if anything we have can or will cut the web, it's going to be that sword.
Oh yeah, crown
Yeah.
sword for sure.
That I don't think my teeth are pretty good, but they're not that good.
Okay,
It's a
do we
pretty
want to
cool
ask
magic
anything
sword.
about the black dragon?
Um,
Or are we pretty much
Oh,
done with
well,
that?
I think we
Okay,
can
okay,
leave her.
wait.
Like, was the black
Before-
dragon being honest with
Yeah,
us?
before we
or-
just decide to go all in with the black
Because
dragon.
we spoke to somebody most recently, we trust
We
them.
do,
The
we
last
do,
person that talked
we
to us.
do
This
definitely
is like
have
some
that
moral
problem.
object permanence.
Dang, you guys don't think about it too hard, do you?
We do tend to just like go with the last.
We're gonna get the loft, and she's gonna be like, "So what I want you to do is kill everybody." Okay.
I go, well, sounds good. I think we go all in with law. So yeah, maybe ask if specifically.
Subi's good.
Is Yasar more trustworthy than Uzu? Like,
It's yes or no.
Should we trust whatever her name is?
Is the black dragon at least being honest with it? Because the black dragon has,
yeah, she's gonna be holding something back.
Okay, Sadie. Jeez.
That came from the caves. Ooh.
because the black dragon did say to us like we're not friends.
Yeah.
Like the black dragon has been pretty upfront, as far as I can tell, has been upfront about stuff.
Unless we get to double bluff.
So
Is the black
Ayun,
dragon being honest about Usu? Or...
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
pretty happy with
Yeah,
that question.
I think that's a good question.
that's good. That's good.
Okay.
Do you like me?
Thunder.
Okay, Thundercats, ho.
Cats.
All right. Crom, bringing out your blade
Side beyond type.
in front of you, staring at the three-eye symbol on the end of not on the end, but on the bottom of the blade. It's etched in. Your eyes kind of unfocused, and everything around you, the cold, the wind, the people around you kind of blurs and eventually just fades away, and you blink, and opening your eyes, you're once again just settling down onto the bottom of the well like you had before. No water around you, but you just kind of float down. Darkness around you, you can just barely see the gray of the sand on below your feet. And as you look around, just looking one way and then the other, suddenly Ayun is in front of you. kind of just floating there, taller than you are, even without floating. Her robes kind of spilling down slowly, kind of unfurling, almost infinitely, like scrolls with writing on them, because she's the goddess of knowledge. And as she looks at you, her third eye opens in her forehead, and she says, "What would you have of me, child?"
I curtsy and ask, are the ingredients that we're gathering, are they actually intended to bind the Unchained Oblivion? The ingredients that Usu is asking us to gather.
She, as she often does, just slightly cocks her head. The brow, which is odd because there's the regular brow and then there's a third brow kind of furrows a little bit, as if she's looking at something beyond you.
Oh no.
And says, "No."
Okay. Does Usu serve Tiamat?
This one, she doesn't even furrow her brow. She just...
Yes.
These are some good questions. They're very direct.
I can't read my writing. Is the black dragon...
Can you read my writing for me?
What does this say?
Yeah, what does this say?
Is the black dragon being honest about Usu being scared?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
This one, she cocks
then
her
where
head.
is Trample Stamp?
Yeah, I retract my third question.
I'm gonna hold on to that for next time.
Strike that from the record. She looks at you and says, "Yes."
High five?
She does not give you a high five, but puts one hand to her sternum and nods to you as the vision of her kind of blurs, and once again you're staring at the sword and the snow whipping around you.
Right. Dude, guys.
The rest of you, all you saw was Crom just kind of staring at the sword, although her eyes seemed to almost glaze over with almost this white color as she did for a few seconds. It's a little creepy, but...
All right. So
No, yes, yes.
So we can't trust him. Is not what we've been doing was been a false reason.
Yes.
So it's the things that we're doing for Usu aren't going towards the things that he said it was going to do.
He's asked us to
He-
collect.
He is a follower of Tiamat, right?
Yeah.
Worships Tiamat or whatevs.
Yes.
And also, Trample Stamp is alive and well in a farm
No,
up
I
north.
don't.
Well cared for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrots and sugar cubes every day.
I mean, there is an answer to that if you had asked.
I think we don't. So we can't trust
I'll
him.
wait till tomorrow.
Right, so we don't need the spider silk.
But why? That's great. But
Over
why
here.
did he have us do it to begin with?
Okay.
What is it gonna do?
He has asked.
Yeah, it's gonna do something.
He
What
has
is it
asked
gonna do?
for a scale from a red dragon, a black dragon, a white dragon, a blue dragon, and a green dragon. Tiamat has the heads of a red dragon, a blue
Well, that
dragon,
would've been
a white
helpful.
dragon, a black dragon,
5 missions ago.
and a green dragon.
I didn't know about Tiamat.
So
Crom doesn't know.
I'm not following. What are you saying?
I believe
What is
that
this
this
thing
is
gonna do?
actually like going to make less of a lock and more of a key.
Yeah.
Kidu what?
Try to bring
Good
Tiamat
graphic
into
novel
the world.
rock.
What?
So was the
You're so
whole
surprised they fall off the mountain. Ah!
was the whole Chained Oblivion like just nothing?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a name that they have for
I
her.
don't know, but
No, it was something.
I mean, you did.
now I'm calling into question everything that Usu has ever told us. What of our knowledge base is based solely on Usu's word?
I'm a good
Everything.
guy.
Like,
what we think we know is from him. Like, he's always the one I'm like, hey, let's ask Usu. Like,
Yeah.
I'd said that like 10
So-
times.
We gave him the rock.
Damn
Oh,
it. For
damn.
safekeeping.
We gave him the rock.
What rock?
That
The
giant
ice rock.
amplifying-
That
The
amplifying
S6
rock.
bigger.
Well,
We didn't tell him how to use it.
we didn't tell him how to use it. It also,
He'll figure it out.
I've developed like a little bit of a twitch ever since I used it that one time that hasn't like really gone away. So I'm worried about some neurological effects. But so it might not be totally safe. So fuck him. But we are here. You know, our friend the Blue Dragon's lair is nearby,
We could get that rock over.
and there was a whole bunch of dim rocks there. If we wanted one,
We can get a bigger rock.
yeah, that cave was full of them.
Are we going like?
I mean, we're here.
You know,
Do we go try to get the silk though?
No.
you know what we could do? And I gotta remember, Rose, that was what we could get out the ring of communication, put on the ring of truth, and ask Usu if he's been lying to us. Because wouldn't he have
Well,
to tell us the truth?
Well, we
already
know,
know
he's
that because
Yeah, or we could ask him why and what he's up to, and he would have to tell us the truth.
I feel like if the dragon found a way around that, you know,
Yeah.
Usu will probably
Well,
have
I
to
put
wait.
it on the dragon, remember?
Okay, so
He just doesn't have to
It
answer.
didn't work out
True.
very well.
No, it didn't work out, but at least I got it back.
I think bringing Tiamat into the world would be a bad thing.
Yes.
Okay, so we've already given him stuff, right?
pretty
He
much
needs the silk.
pretty much the silk is what, the last thing?
Okay, well,
And then he needs it built.
Yeah.
Which
I
he can't do
think-
himself apparently.
Which is hard because of the thing.
we should
stuff.
get fake silk.
You were. That's exactly
But
what I was
he
gonna
still
say.
has a significant
You
amount
said it first.
of materials to make this happen.
Right.
Maybe we should get it away from him.
Well, if
What
there's
if we
more to
re-steal
the
it?
if there's more to like, I feel like fake silk would be a great part of a bigger plan. Like, okay, we get him fake silk, and then like that gives us the excuse to go see him and give it to him and be like, all right, Usu, let's build this thing that's totally gonna work, and we like can feel it out, and then we do something. I don't know what, but
Jump through a portal.
I like the idea of the fake silk. That will.
Bye.
I feel like that'll get us
I
pretty
want
far.
to interject with two things. First, we know that he has said that he sent somebody else out after the White Dragon scale.
Yeah.
So potentially we're not the only ones searching for this silk. Secondly, I mean, if he's as smart as he is, as he's as old as he is, as he's as magically as he is, I wonder if he's as dragon as he is. I wonder how much time the fake silk is going to buy us.
Yeah, I mean that would definitely be part of a plan where we
Why I'm
would do
worried about getting
something
all the
like
materials from
Store-
that would just give
Yeah.
us an excuse to like
Like-
be there and
Put
like
it in his hand and then sucker punch him.
right, something
know,
like
like-
that. Yeah.
I do not know that it is going to buy us much time.
Do we need to go? Are we going to the Underdark? Are we just?
We're already
We're at the
here.
gates, so we just.
I mean, you're at the gate.
Just
Yeah.
pop in, see how everybody is.
I mean, we
staff.
we have a pretty big renown in this one major city in the Underdark where we're kind of the champion.
But also,
Chomp, when you say renowned, is it a positive thing?
It is. I mean, we won
Well-
a gladiatorial.
we also
like-
have wanted posters, probably. with our
Everything that
faces
I've come
on it.
across with you guys seems to hate you.
So we won a big championship down there and was like, we the best. We also double crossed a beholder who was in charge of like a crime syndicate.
Which one of those things do you think carries more weight? How often did they have the gladiatorial championships? Because it could have been like you vacated your title, piss off.
I don't remember. Was that a yearly thing or I
Come
don't?
on, it's been a year now, so maybe we can.
It hasn't been quite a year, but it was an annual thing.
Yeah, it
And
was-
remember who ran that city too? Who was a mind flayer? That seemed a little off.
It had a space, you know.
Yeah.
That had a spelljammer.
Chomp has been dreaming about.
Is it the Norway one?
Yeah.
Also,
It was Crash,
But it was like
and he was using it as
still counts.
his headquarters.
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
and I investigated it and inspected it, and like I don't have no idea how to fly it, but it's like it was definitely interplanar ship, and I've been really wanting to go check that out.
but you're halfway to a roller coaster. The next step is clearly flying a spaceship. So,
Good callback. You hear tapping through all this as the metal child is once again writing furiously and hands it over to you again. And it says, "Wait, does this mean we're not banned from the city?"
No,
I don't know,
What
because
city?
Oh, the city that Usu.
it's still
He
very
was
possible that we are, because
Because Usu was all like, "Oh, don't come back here unless you talk to me first." Because
Probably
like,
because he's doing some shit.
I mean, he could have told everybody
Well,
we were
did do
bad.
some
it
messed
could
up
be
shit.
that he told us we did bad. It could be that the dwarf was just burning people in cells, and Usu may not be the only person who knew that and was like, "Hey, you need to tell those fools not to come back." Or we could not be banned at all. Is there another way that we can get into the city in disguise to see what the temperature is?
I have the mask of holding. I mean, the mask of many faces. Roland will be thrilled to put that on and go around places.
I mean, we can disguise ourselves. A few of us have alter self, and we got a mask of many faces, which does.
Roland can't wait to get his
Something.
hands on that now that
But-
he remembers it.
Yeah.
Do you know of another teleporting circle in the city?
I do not
Okay.
think so.
I was
do not.
I mean, the one that I know of is in the
Usu's place.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should consider that one not the go-to for right now, because we go in there and we're kind of at his mercy.
Well, it wasn't exactly Usu's place.
It's not Usu's like personal
He has an office
place,
there.
but it's the government building of
That
the,
he works in?
Yeah.
I'm pretty much considering that his personal use then.
And if we use the teleportation circle without calling first, it does draw a lot
Why
of
do you think
attention.
that is?
Because Usu wants to keep a heavy hand on us.
I think that one is maybe something we should not make the priority.
Are, supposedly all of us are wanted.
Usu said us
group,
as a
yeah.
party. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Maybe we should find out with one person instead of all of us trying to sneak
Oh, I
in
was so put on the mask of many
to
faces and
find
go
out whether that's actually true.
Could we?
You should be. It shouldn't be hard to find out who's wanted.
in. All right, Roland is looking at that mask of many faces. He's like opening the
Go
holding
for
bag
it.
of holding.
Part of me is now like, we put the mask on Roland, send him through the teleporter, and he's like, "Oh, I got here by mistake. How is everybody?" You know, like, anybody wanted in this city? I don't
Yeah,
know.
when
Make
you
conversation.
Dress up like a constable or something.
Yeah.
Be like,
Dog the bounty hunter.
all right.
Looking for some business.
Swinging his nightstick.
Yep. Top of the morning to you, fellow guards.
Good morning to you. Hello,
Besides teleportation,
hello, fellow teenagers.
portal. Do we? What's the other quickest route to this place? Since we're
Well, our ride just left.
Does that
No.
city,
Sure, the Black Dragon is 50 miles away.
does that city with the gladiatorial tournament, did they have a teleportation that you knew of? Do you think they
Well,
there
would?
could be
was-
one in the
there
city
could
somewhere.
I'm not sure. At the time, I did not. I don't think I knew teleportation, so I really wasn't paying attention to teleportation circles.
Either way, we don't. I don't think we want to go
Yeah.
to the one.
No.
in the city.
No, I don't think he's going to go to Usu's palace.
Also, from this side, the only way you knew through was blocked off by a rock slide, if you remember.
You don't remember shit.
No, I do, because was that not the rock slide that separated us from
The
Oh,
other
yeah.
characters.
the other characters
Yeah.
that were traveling with us at one point? I think that might have
There
been
was a worm.
Well, I'm gonna you guys take it easy.
There was a worm.
Yep, there was a
There's
big
a beholder.
beholder.
Yeah, I thought the worm was earlier.
There was a giant battle. There were spiders. There were kobolds.
Do we try to get off the mountain then and work our way south? Because that's going to take a lot of time.
The Underdark does seem a little bit like a just
Fun.
we have no reason to go
Yeah.
now.
Well, unless you want that wealth sale.
I mean, we could.
Or to mess with the beholder.
Could we call upon Uso and be like, "Hey, something's come up. We need your assistance urgently to get him to come get us from the city." And then we're like, "We just need to gather something because we made an attempt to get into the Underdark and things went bad. We need to resupply."
I mean,
Well, if we used a fake silk, will he know like immediately?
I mean,
I think he might.
Because it's special.
it is special, and I don't know. Does anybody know illusion magic that
we won't
There is
give it
there
to
is a
Blue
spell that I always
Yeah.
overlooked because it was like
Like
this
how-
spell looks useless, but it's like you can make an object look magical when it's not magical.
Huh.
I was like, when would I ever
Prestidigitation.
need this spell?
Prestidigitation.
Is that it?
I don't know.
Could we just keep, like you said, just keep it and say, Usu, we cannot show it to you in this room with all the guards. We must be alone, and then just deck them.
I mean, I don't know what his plan was to get us back, smuggle us back into the city, because he was like, yeah, you're not wanted here, stay away, but like, eventually he's got to be able to get us back in there.
I mean, he got you in once already since you've been wanted.
Maybe that's what we could do. We could say, hey, look, we have this silk. We know we're not wanted in the city. Can you meet us here, someplace else? And maybe he just comes by himself.
Don't bring any guards.
Come alone at night with no weapons, with your hands tied behind your back.
As a point of reminder, he has not had any guards with him the last time he
That's
met you.
true.
He
Yeah,
met you
he-
alone last time.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I feel like.
we don't know how capable he is.
Yeah. I was sitting here looking at my spells, thinking like, oh, we just
Yeah.
cast like some type of
Charm person.
holding spell
I
or a
would
charm
just assume
spell.
he's way capable.
but-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say he's more capable.
That's
He's probably
why
more
I'm
powerful
concerned
If
than
he
we
dragon,
are.
he could just be like,
That's why I'm concerned about the silk lasting seconds. I'd also want to say, we don't know how many people in the city are very, very loyal just to him.
yeah.
Either through worship of Tiamat or here's a bunch of money, do what I say.
I'm trying to remember what he has told us to do. He did that.
I don't think you should.
Pretty much everything for a while now. Since
Pretty
they're-
much since the third session. Yeah.
Yeah, like we've been blindly.
Now what?
You guys, there's a long game. Come on.
Freaky. I've been
Let's go see
paranoid
Loft and
as
see what
crap.
she wants.
That's
Find some other big bad to work for.
That's where I was.
Zippo just comes full circle like, alright, let's just work for her. That's fine.
You know
know
what,
what?
guys?
We're here.
You get a really
Life is
sick
meaningless.
tattoo.
Let's just do what we do.
See what she has to offer at least.
Who's the sun god?
I didn't use my character voice, it doesn't count.
Well, then in that case,
Your
let's
spells
just
don't work out about it.
help Tiamat
Well, I don't
to
know.
our world.
Yeah, I mean, people were talking about that would be a bad thing, but I mean, I don't really
I think it means
study
everybody
these.
gets dragon powers.
It does not mean everybody gets.
I mean,
If you get bit by a dragon.
Tiamat coming into the world would be bad.
I think so.
Yeah, like 100%.
I mean, like bad for everybody.
Yes,
Bad
yes.
for okay.
Everybody except Tiamat. I'm pretty sure.
Well,
So, after quite a bit more tapping, the sheet's starting to fill up, but
We gotta get
the
this.
metal child hands it back to you. And it says, in Draconic.
I love how you like pointed to it like I should be reading it now. I
No,
don't have it.
you got. Pick it up.
Give that to me.
It says, wouldn't the person who would build it know what it does?
Yes, he probably would know what it does, but there's no reason for him to tell us because he told us it was going to do.
No,
shit.
he
No,
not.
he's not building
He not
it.
building it.
Who's building it?
We have to go to the doors.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Wait, was the doors building it?
No, we have to go to
Jim
the doors.
Morrison.
To,
Jim Morrison is building it.
we have to go to the doors.
I mean,
he is the Lizard King,
It's-
after all.
I'm imagining
Dun
that's.
dun dun!
I'm imagining that's. That's how I've imagined Sigil when we go there and we see the Queen of Doors or whatever.
It's the City of Doors. It's just clones of the doors.
Yeah, I was imagining it looking like Jim
it's
Morrison,
just leather
like,
pants everywhere.
And organs playing.
I mean, you're not far off.
and him saying some like pseudo intellectual
It's
bullshit. and,
Absolute
like,
bullshit
yeah.
for 3 hours
Yep.
every time somebody talks.
It's like,
Oh, just 20 minutes.
You have to go. Before I do this, I have to record a double live album. No, that's a bad idea. We had to go to the City of Doors to forge the weapon, and he was going to get us there.
uh-huh.
So I don't think we can shortcut that, because if we're like, hey, we got the silk, take us to the city,
How we get to City of Doors.
he's going to be like, let me see it.
Well, do you remember seeing any entrance to the City of Doors anywhere? He said, promptingly.
Who said promptingly?
So, I know
His
that
voice from nowhere.
I know that in Usu's office building, there were lots of gateways, portals,
Yeah.
teleportation circles. There's just like,
And there
I mean, it was
Were
like
they labeled?
LAX.
sometimes they don't let
there,
you go
just-
in there.
Were they labeled?
Yes.
I don't know if we could read it.
Now, boys.
Let's just call Usu on the coin and say.
I think I did
"Ready
look.
to be
I did
beamed
like
up."
see if I could see in any of the doors, and it was just like
Beam us up.
teleportation circles in every room.
Let's just go visit.
You know, I guess the first thing is figure out how the hell we're gonna get back, and then find out if we're wanted, and then maybe
Wait, we
go
have to
old
find
school
a
and
portal.
find out where he
We
goes
don't know.
because he must
No, I can
have
draw it.
access
You can
to
draw 'cause
a
you know,
portal
okay.
or something.
He can draw because we know it. He knows it.
Also, just something to maybe be aware
We could
of.
just say we need to resupply.
If he is a dragon, and this building is where he lives and sleeps and eats and is a lair, it's going to be even rougher to fight him.
I'm not. I don't want to fight him yet.
We could, you know, make fake silk, right? And one of us dies, you sell it. You know, the story died in.
Oh.
Are you volunteering to
Oh,
die?
no.
We just say that we died. That he died.
Oh well, you know, I have a thing that allows you to kind of feign death and be doing make
Allows
it
you
look
to
like you're
feign
dead.
death.
But we
You
might
can
have
say
to
that
either really mess you
The
up
dwarf
somehow,
died.
or somebody.
Right.
Morrison died?
The dwarf.
Oh.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, we could.
The dwarf died a brave.
Good.
Stab it,
Right.
make it look like it got bit by like
Sacrificed
big giant
himself.
demon spider fangs.
Yeah.
We lost our friend to get this silk.
Hey, could you? What's going on with
Let's
all this
just
right
do
now?
it and
You
see what
lie on
happens.
the ground, pretend to writhe around a lot. We'll call Usu, say you've been killed. We don't have any healing spells, and he needs to come resurrect. Almost killed, and he needs to come resurrect you while
That's
you're
not
on the
going
ground.
to work because I made it very clear to him that I do not resuscitate order.
Ah.
It's notarized.
I'm not so sure the person that would make it would actually be able to recognize it as fake or not, because if they have plenty of time to have seen demon spider silk cloth, might have had it already or could have got it themselves. So I don't think they're going to necessarily recognize it, but as soon as
Okay.
they try to make the damn thing,
My only thing
Okay, but we
is,
just
like,
need to
he
be
doesn't need to see it or have seen it. He can just do identify magic thing on it.
yeah, but who says that
He's never really.
silk would make it?
He hasn't ever like really
magic?
questioned
work.
us like immediately. We've brought him things before, and it's
To
just
our faces.
all real.
To our faces.
right. So I'm saying like it'll give us some time at least.
Let's just go get the silk.
We're here. Why don't we just punch Loth?
Okay,
I
we
mean-
say we have the silk and tell him just like, okay, send us immediately to the City of Doors.
Yeah,
He's going to ask why we don't want the other scales.
we do.
No, you send it with us. Look, we got the silk. Let's go.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll work?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm willing to try that.
Try it.
We feel the sense of urgency.
Because if
so we
nothing
don't
else-
Yeah, we just like, come on, we gotta
I just
go.
wanna get
We
these
kind of like razzle dazzle him
Before
and
we
just
leave
be
the
like, well, let's
Underdark,
go.
are we sure we don't need to go to Loth?
Trample stamp is gone. You have to. I mean, not gonna find him.
If we're going to do this,
One of the benefits
I
of
just
going
don't
through
wanna
and
have to
coming
come
out the
back
other
here.
side would be to find
I
a
want
corpse
this
of
to
a
be-
horse.
We don't need to come back to the
there's some
Underdark.
benefits to that plan because if he can say, okay, I'm sending the other stuff too, we get that thing made. We have that thing, and we have a.
And it's a thing.
That we're
We
not
can
worried.
figure out what it is, or if nothing else, he has to come to us to get
Oh,
it.
that's a pretty good thought though about it being a way to bring Tiamat into the world. That sounds.
I'm really bad, not bad, scared. I don't know if like forging it is going to be enough to bring her in, or if it's a key, if we have to find a door, which is probably on that island that I don't want to go to. But if we are going to call him,
Something already happened on that island too.
something probably still happening on that island.
Smoke monster.
Yeah, probably a lot.
That's what
It
happens
probably
on
was
those
over there.
islands.
But if we're going to call him, maybe we
Inexplicable polar bear.
maybe we crack these doors that we're in front of, and we're like running out of them as you're calling him. If he can see us, I don't know. Does he see us?
If we do what?
If we, if he opens the teleport circle, does he see where we are?
No, I can open the teleportation.
Oh, then we don't need to.
The only reason why we would call him
It's just
before
so he
is
knows
because
that we're
like
there.
unexpected party shows up and people freak
An
out.
entrance to the place should have guards.
The only thing that worries me about going to get lost Silk and just going to visit her is, in all honesty, if we give him all the parts, he doesn't need us anymore. He can just take that silk, kill us all, and go make the machine himself. And
As soon as we hand over the silk, even if it's fake silk, he just kills us because
We're
he thinks he's got the real silk.
It's very
Yeah.
possible.
That's true.
Well, we won't know until we try.
I mean, Ayun, your goddess, has made it very clear that we should not trust this guy, that he worships Tiamat, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we open this portal and I take this, and I hold up my mace, and as soon as I'm through, I just bury it in his head.
Okay.
would you like to borrow the mask of many faces? So
What does
No, I
Mask?
want him to know.
What does
Okay.
Mask of Many Faces
He
do?
will know.
It's
Exactly?
amazing.
Do we know?
Roland's willing to find out.
Mask,
How often
I
can
had
you
that
talk to Ayun?
as,
Once a day.
Today, well,
I mean, I could,
time, game.
I could
Password one day,
divination.
please. Just joking.
Just argue all day.
No, I was gonna say we could
Icicles.
ask
Yeah.
if the spider silk is forgeable.
I could,
Is it because I don't think it's magical.
I don't,
You may be able to detect if you use some kind of spell, like an identify spell on it. Be like, okay, yeah, this came from this creature. But they would want to do that, I guess. Because
you asked if this is going to free Tiamat of Ayun.
Is it for the to bind the chained oblivion?
I don't really like to bother him. I could talk to Pelor. We could ask some different questions. I could ask him if what this thing builds is a key to free Tiamat.
I think we can
You can do that too.
assume
I just don't want to. I've done it before.
for his person.
Not to Ayun. That's disrespectful. We don't have a relationship.
So he serves Tiamat and he's building something that is not what he said he wanted it for. So
I
I
feel like
don't think we need
2
to
and
waste
2.
a question
Yeah.
on that specifically.
Good, because like I said, he's busy. He does a
Could
lot.
you ask him, is there a way that we can kill Usu? Just like straight yes, no, yes, no.
I mean, there's a way to kill
is
either.
Usu dragon?
Is Usu dragon?
Like, is he
Yeah.
literally some type of dragon in disguise? Because we've been fooled before.
Yes, we have.
Twice. At
At
we
least
know of.
twice.
I like the idea
That
that
we
Chop's
know
now
of.
like looking at every member of the party like,
Are
"You're all
you a
You're
dragon?
all dragons, aren't you?
You're a dragon.
Is that dragon I wrote on really a dragon? Or is that a dragon?
Chomsky's having some real problems.
This isn't helping the Twitch you were talking
Margaret.
about at all.
The Mask of Many Faces would allow you to cast Disguise Self.
I had that.
Although if you're not attuned to it, it does so randomly.
Oh.
I had that
To a
at will
random apparition.
as a warlock, and it was amazing.
Like when you're
It's a great...
Yeah.
like creating a character in a video game and
You're
you
right.
just hit randomize
Yeah, random.
on, and it's
That's
just
what
like
happens if you try to use it and you don't attune to it
What if
first.
it just randomly looks like you?
In one session.
Can it randomize anybody around or just the person who's doing it?
Just the person who's wearing it.
Oh man, that makes it even more fun.
I disguised self as a person at a checkpoint. Like, I appeared as them, and I was like, let me through, it's time for my shift. And the team was like, well, you gotta roll for that. And I passed. And they're like, okay, I'm on in. It was amazing. I mean, do we want... Do we have 2 other questions to ask Pelor? Or are we going to just leave that by the way?
I mean, you have 2 people who can do this, so you can...
Is trample stamp okay? I know I don't like to bother you except for big questions, but
But
Trample
this
stamp,
random
this
horse,
horse that I've
who
never
left in our
met.
village.
they keep asking me, and they're much bigger than
It's not
I am.
even in the Underdark. It was outside. It was in a
we
little
left
village.
it. We left it on the other end of the Underdark before
You're-
we entered.
You're a god. You probably know the one I'm talking about.
I mean, there's a lot of ends to the Underdark, to be fair.
Yeah, we traveled a long way.
But the
there.
Emerald Outpost, to be specific, there was also 2 draft horses that you left,
So he's
and a wagon.
and a wagon. Yeah,
he's reached his
we left
destiny as a
we were like, we're
warrior.
coming
And
back.
he's-
Also, there's a
He's
zombie
been
knoll
used.
out there somewhere.
yeah.
in the woods,
I've
just-
thought about
Yeah.
Beyonce
Okay.
a few times.
There's also a zombie halfling somewhere in your city. Well, it'd probably decayed by now.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
And there's a zombie T-Rex running around your neck of the woods.
I think
No,
this
that
is
thing
now-
got destroyed.
Oh, did it get
Oh
destroyed?
yeah, we yeah
by
Spider
the
went through
smote it on the
by
mountainside.
the giant.
Spider.
It was spider shaped.
Elf conglomerate spider.
Ah, okay.
It was a spider built of the souls of dark
It
elves.
was horrific.
Okay, let's do
Really
it.
did not think I was making it out of that.
We
That's
don't need
great.
to let me just double check.
Oh,
We don't
next one
need-
you won't.
We don't need the
See.
silk.
We don't
Next
want
one
it
you
silver.
probably
I don't think we do.
It's fine.
So we don't need it to fool, like as a prop or anything, because that's probably really dangerous. Okay, so we don't need to go in the Underdark. Where we need to go is to the Platinum Dragon place. The end.
The spires of Urek,
That's
Yep.
what
So
I said.
when we
which
get
is
there,
the city of Singorn,
Singorn.
what is the plan?
which is it's a large arcane university basically. So
We don't want to split the party.
To call it
What's
winter.
what's the plan when we get to? Are we still trying to talk to Lucy then?
What is it? We can tell them that we're rearming ourselves or something.
y'all have heard some other names of people in the spires of Urek. You've never met any of them, but you've heard some names.
Then there's the woman
Is there-
Roland blew off on the date.
Is there a? I know I had gone to Singorn to look for books on the Sun God, but is there a temple there?
There is. It's in the same district as the spires.
Would I know if they had a teleportation circle? Well, that wouldn't be any help to Chomp anyway.
We just need.
It wouldn't, but they don't.
Okay.
There is
We're just trying
one
to do a
circle as
shortcut.
far as you know within the city. and that's
longer
inspiring.
steps.
I mean, how long would it take to get there by foot? Too long, right? Way too long.
I think so.
Probably.
We
I
need to
have no
probably just go
idea.
through the Underdark.
Yeah.
Might as well.
This is really swinging wildly back and forth. Which one?
Yeah, you go through the Underdark. I'll go to the...
Ron wants to just go straight to the teleportation circle and pop up and be like, surprise.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we just
It
get
wouldn't
there and
be
we go-
abnormal for us to do that.
Yeah,
We have
usually
done it
go on
before.
the offensive.
And I was just thinking, I can cast Alter Self. There is the Mask of Many Faces. If we could attune to it, we could decide. Anyway, I was thinking, what if we make one of us disguised as Usu?
He's going to be really confused.
Yeah,
Well,
show
we don't
the-
call him first. We show up, and then when the guards rush in and be like, "Who's teleporting in here?" It's like, "It's me, Usu, the big asshole." I'm so dumb, and you know.
Get him.
That doesn't sound like him.
Well, you know, I alter self, so it all sound
So
like
you're
him.
going by yourself?
Or you know, I'm just saying, I have. It's not a fully fleshed out plan. I'm just saying, like, if one of us shows up
It's
as
an
Usu,
interesting
How
plan.
long did it take you to attune? To
But
the
what if he's
mask?
there
I
and
don't
you
get
just
No, at this
arrive?
point, I don't
That
know
would be
at all.
that would be
What
something to
happens.
consider.
well, that's why we don't. I mean,
Even we don't.
I think the odds are slim that he happened to be like right there at that teleportation circle. Blah blah blah.
I've just been watching this entire time.
Yeah.
He could be
Oh,
scribed.
so lucky there's
Wait,
not
don't we
someone
have a
jumping
crystal
out.
ball?
We do have an orb of scrying.
One of the other things that I want to bring up,
Oh,
if we get to Singorn, right? I don't know how teleportation is, but if he's got that room that just has doors,
Very complicated.
like,
He doesn't. The place does.
but if things go bad, are they just like active, or do you have to say a spell? Like,
Well-
if he's like, I'm going to kill you now, can we just run to one of those doors and say bye bye?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
permanent.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
permanent teleportation circles. I believe they might need to be like activated, but I don't think it's like if it's a permanent teleportation circle, the runes are engraved in it, and I believe we can just like open it.
yeah, but we have to be able to go to another place.
Well, don't they just automatically go to some place? I mean, like if we jump
John,
down one.
Make a Arcana check real quick.
Because I mean, if it's open all the time and we need a quick out, it's just something to be aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they can follow us directly.
Yeah, but then we'll be there first, and we can jump back.
Try
Where'd they go?
Just take a hammer and chisel and just do like tink and ruin one of the rooms, and then they can't use it anymore.
Try to sneak
One
in and
room,
see the
and it's just
runes
done.
on one before and couldn't.
Yeah, I got
Somebody
it.
just comes through inside out.
It's a Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah. Remember the transport scene in the beginning of Star Trek: The Motion Picture? Yeah, like that.
Yikes.
Anyway,
We brindle fly in there, and
Yeah.
I got a 23.
That's
wow, that's a high Arcana check.
I got a high
Um,
Arcana.
When it comes to portals and things, and there's teleportation circles, but then there's the thing that you saw for the City of Doors, which is a portal. That is something different. It is permanent. And if you walk through it, anything that goes through, goes through.
Can you close it?
They are in a similar section of the spires, which you walked through and saw some of these things.
Yeah.
Like there was a teleportation room, which is where everybody comes in and out of the spire on that plane. But then there's the portal rooms,
Right.
which are different.
Right.
Portals. I
Maybe
wanna
we
jump
just
through the
teleport
portal.
his head.
And they go
And, you know.
between two specific places between planes often.
Right. Because portals can be from two locations
I like
on the
portals.
same plane or interplanar.
Yes.
And then I just happened to be reading the other day about the difference between
Whoa.
portals.
Reading.
I like that this
Gates.
is in character. And he's
I was
reading the other day on the-
just reading the other day.
on the flight over.
The specific distinctions between portals, gates, and there was another one that was weird because it's a natural phenomenon like
Public
a tornado. Anyway, conduits. That's what it was. Portals, gates, and conduits. Usually used interchangeably, but there's actually a difference.
Okay.
He pushes the spectacles up on his.
Actually, you guys.
Technically.
But if they're there, it might be a way to get out if things go get hairy.
You mean into the City of Doors?
Isn't only
Just
one of us
anywhere. If
going
he's like, you're here, cool, I'm going to kill you now. We run out of that room and we run into the room that has an active teleporter or something, whatever they were.
Well, the portal to the City of Doors was in a slightly different. It's like on like a different floor, different room. It was on the interplanar
I like your idea.
segment.
Sub
I like your
basement
idea.
3.
I like your idea. Let's do that. I vote for that.
I don't think we should
What is
split
the
it
idea?
apart.
I'm-
Which
No,
one's
no.
the ideas?
No.
I've thrown out a lot.
You dress up like
Who is this?
you cosplay as Usu,
Uh-huh.
and then we're just with you, like we always are with Usu, you know?
Oh yeah, like my
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just say that you're with me, guys.
If that happens, I don't. Does he carry keys with him? My
Probably.
question.
that
You've never seen a key on him.
The reason I ask is if you're Uzu and we come through, you can say to the guards, "Come on, take us to the place where all the crap that these guys brought to us is," and then we go down there and we take it, and then
If
we
they
leave.
even know what he's doing, because if he's
That's
shady,
very
then
true.
he might be keeping it from everybody.
I can just be like, you guards. You guys know where I've been keeping the ingredients for the very important spell.
That's
I
super
forget.
you no because I'm gonna say
I know. I'm gonna
say,
wanna
like,
see if you know.
you guards take my friends to that area. I've got really important other shit to do.
I like that this is turning
Then
into
you
like
can't
a
find us.
1930s.
And then I end up like wandering the halls like
This turned into a worse version of Ocean's 11.
Yes.
somehow.
It's always going to be
This is Keystone Cops. This is way past Ocean's 11.
Is our fan on whatever it's called enjoying us?
Yeah.
Or
They've
did
already
get up
figured
and
it
go to
out.
the
Which
kitchen?
I have no idea. I don't know how many people
Every-
are watching.
if you guys got better ideas, get in the comments.
on Twitch.
For the past 3 months, the guy's been like, "It's for fucking Tiamat." Like, what do you not see?
Right?
Have you read the novelizations?
Who likes that idea? Is that
I mean, I think it's a fun
I think
one.
it's a great idea.
Just to, it gets us back into the city. If they can get us to where the other scales are, that's a benefit. If not, we're there. We can do something.
And the plan would be if we got to where the other ingredients were to just like steal them, separate
Yes,
them,
to take them away.
and then our ultimate destination is City
Somewhere
of Doors.
else.
Why
If
would
we can
go
get
there?
We don't need to go
Well,
there
because the
anymore.
guy there could tell you what it does.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay.
But also,
about
So could my god.
Right.
Or guard. God. Not guard. Guard of your soul.
Don't
Somebody
they
get
do yes or
attuned
no?
to that crystal ball and find make sure
Yeah.
there's
Can we look, I'm
Somebody
thinking that. Can we
attuned-
look in the orb of scrying and see
Can
what
you-
he's up to?
Do you have an attunement slot for that mask? Just so it's.
I don't think I do, but I'm probably willing
Thing
to
where he's like
unattune
looking at the
something.
monitor, he looks over his shoulder. He looks-
I don't know what I'm attuned to anymore.
if we scry, Usu's scrying us. And
Oh,
he's just
no.
like, nope.
awkward.
He just pulls up his pants real quick. Usu, what do you think?
I am
Oh,
attuned to
so
some
it
things. I
is
just can't remember what.
The restraining order in town too. Oh, what a pervert.
I think I'm attuned to my gun, and I'm not going to want to stop being attuned to Lucretia because I like
What are we trying to attend to?
You should have 3.
Think of it as
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
what
a
I'm attuned
temporary
to
thing,
anymore.
but
The mask?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll attune to the mask.
I
I'll
would-
drop one of my things that I'm attuned to.
I would offer, but I'm not going to be able to fool anybody to say that my voice sounds like this.
Isn't Uzu an elf?
The mental child could and just not say anything.
human. Doesn't look like an elf.
I was going to say, I know I could pass.
And actually, he's entirely bald, with a
Oh.
little bit of a goatee.
No, that's not how I pictured him.
You
No,
know,
me neither.
Well, that's
Yeah.
how he looks.
That's not what the fan art is.
I was gonna say he
fan
totally
art is
looks evil.
Now that you describe him with that
You know what
mustache, it is
Gandalf
always
has
swirling.
on under that hat.
Now that,
the hair is attached to the hat.
Yeah.
Yes, he takes it off and he's like,
hello.
Now I'm thinking
hello. He's Gandalf.
What are you doing? Is
It's,
that a slight on me?
it is. Yes.
Oh.
It's bad Eastern European accent.
If
yeah.
we get back to Singorn and Uzu turns around in a chair and he's stroking a cat, he's got a monocle, we're gonna be screwed.
So you've got a disguise
He's allergic.
spell
By the way.
you can do? Cool.
Oh,
Oh,
adventuring, but I
if,
expect you
if
to.
we were gonna fake,
I had a lot of
spider
other
silk,
things
are we gonna do?
prepared.
We're gonna fake spider silk.
Well,
Well, I mean, if
Again, we can find
I don't
out.
think we have to. If our plan is for me to disguise as Usu and smuggle you guys in, and we just go to the storage locker, we get the ingredients, we get to the City of Doors. I mean, all of these steps sound foolproof and really easy string of steps here.
If the shit
and-
disappears, they know something's up.
How long? Well,
Oh yeah, I mean, by the time we get it all, this is
Is Mask of Many Faces concentration or is it habit duration? Because again, in my experience with that different character, I don't think that it did.
Yeah.
It was at will. So I kind of just like always had it up.
alter
So
self.
for this, I'm not sure.
Alter self is concentration up to an hour.
I mean, that's a fair amount of time.
Yeah.
And it needs to recharge for a day.
I'm totally wrong.
I think it has 3 charges, Mask of Many Faces.
Even at that point, we get in with you being Uzu, and then the guards come back, and we're like, "Oh no, he had to go do some paperwork. He just told us to take care of things."
Yeah, I mean, anybody I run into as Usu, I'm gonna like give them the alibi that will get us around, for as long as possible.
We could do the Simpsons thing where we have a box. We're like, "Yeah, Usu, the spider silk is in the box," and he opens the lid, and we just stick him.
yeah, do it.
Yeah. And
I
you
was
know,
gonna say,
if we
why
do
is
take
Crab
everything
holding that
from
box
the
and
room,
giggling?
Sean, if we do take everything from the room, we can just put like a little thin mint on one of the pillars and put, "Sorry, sir, we were not able to turn down your bed tonight," and leave. But it will have the chocolate.
I mean,
This sounds like a well thought through plan, and I enjoy
what?
the opportunity to see how it works.
Yeah, let's just swing it.
Yeah.
I still think if we can get back to Singorn and get to,
Yeah.
I think we have a fair shot of getting either to the City
And
of
talk
Doors,
to somebody else in charge that
talk to somebody else, or get
Or
at
find
least
the
some of the
doors.
scales.
the doors.
Well,
Yes.
you know where
And
his
talk to-
study is that he's brought you to several times.
Yeah, but
Oh,
he's
yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah.
in there.
He might be.
You don't know.
It's not the first place I would want to go.
He gets around. He
Can
has
we
a
do that?
temple in Stillben that he runs. So.
Yeah. Can we just look and see if he's there with
Can
our
we
little
just like
screen?
call
Yeah.
him on the thing and say, "Are you home?" That one would be suspicious.
Hey, this is Uzu's Hotmail. You've reached me.
Let's do it.
Suspicious.
That'll be fun.
Also, Chomsky would be thinking.
Turbos flowers.
Yes.
Chomsky's been thinking for a while now, actually, about some interplanar travel. Ever since we found that spelljammer.
Okay. Well, first things first. We have to go
I'm,
through the portal.
If we get to the City of Doors, I think at that point there's because so far this plan has no steps beyond that. We get to the
no.
City of Doors.
asked Dude about what he
We
wanted.
ask Dude
Yeah,
about what this thing
yeah,
is, and
yeah.
Dude tells us bleh, and then what? I propose at any point, if we make it to City of Doors, at any point, we go through a door. And it doesn't matter what happens on this planet,
Because we are.
because we somewhere else. So, Tiamat gets there, the Chained Oblivion gets out, fuck 'em.
Just like supernatural.
You can.
You have
go
no
to another
family there.
reality or,
Yeah.
or plane. Or something.
If interdimensional movies, time travel movies, Rick and Morty has taught me anything, you can always just start over somewhere else.
I haven't seen season 5.
I think this
I
is
don't think that we
like close to a workable plan for us.
Because it's really well thought out. I mean,
Oh my
there's
God,
like
are you
3
guys-
steps in it or something.
Things
You guys,
Not
you guys
your
like that
part.
last part?
Not your part about abandoning things. I've put a lot of
Let's
money
just-
into some temples.
Because if we get too far ahead of
So
ourselves,
materialistic.
some of it might not matter because something else happens.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Exactly,
I'm
that's why
totally planning
short
on
term is
this
the
to
best.
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
awry very
Yeah.
quickly.
I mean, because we think we're like, oh, he can't do anything. We have the Black Dragon scale. That's not the only Black Dragon.
True.
Like he's like, oh no, I have to spend another week.
Oh wait,
Oh, no.
yeah, we also have the Black Dragon scale that is not part of the collection yet, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we haven't given it to
Right.
him
Right. Yeah.
So
Right.
he's, yeah.
Right.
So he's missing 2 parts.
that we know of. 3 that we know of. Because he was sending somebody out for the White Dragon scale.
He might have been bluffing.
He might have been bluffing.
He might.
He might be a white dragon.
He might be a White Dragon.
He might just be like,
But
You know, even if he did, we haven't heard that they've come back.
okay, let's do it. Teleport test.
All right, let's go.
Put on the mask first.
Oh yes, that.
well, I was going to use alter self
Oh, okay.
because
Do that then.
I'll be able to change like everything about me, and I believe it will be
Gotcha.
somewhat undetectable because I will
Is it
truly
an
look
illusion?
like that. It's not an illusion.
You
I
have it
don't
on
think.
back.
I think
on
we
your
determined
yours on
that
back,
like
you
I
get to put it
physically
on
am
at
altered.
random.
What should say on the spell?
I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Appear is
That
God.
can make it a lot more fun.
If you go
Yeah, we haven't
sideways,
gone
you
that
should.
plan.
Yeah,
Tend to
just
be
get out of
Tiamat, be
there.
like, just
Like-
forget the plan.
Yeah.
I don't
I've
know
changed my
these
mind.
people.
We get like all of us put on a mask of many faces and become like a different head of Tiamat. We're just like, we just stand in the hallway like.
It looks a lot like one of those 2-person horses, except for like 5 people.
From the Venture Brothers when they're Mecha Shiva. And the guards are like, what do we do?
Yeah, it's
It's a different effect this time, I
it's
feel.
not illusion magic. It's transmutation. Like because it can also, I can change my appearance, including height, weight, facial features, sound of your voice, hair
Yeah.
length, coloration.
Alter self is this different than disguise self.
Right.
I think this is a good
Because I could also have aquatic adaptations or
Okay.
natural weapons. So it's like I'm
Not
physically transmuting my body.
You're an animorph.
Yep. If it lasts longer than an hour.
You're
Fucked.
You're stuck.
Yeah, except for that last part. If an hour turns up, I just turn back into Chomsky.
Do you want to be able to do it more than once, just in case?
I can only do it once per long rest, I think.
Oh.
Anything while
It's an ability of an item that I
Okay.
have. I can cast it like once per long rest.
Well, if you
Just
turn
spell
back
or
into
something.
Chomsky, you just yell at the guards, I'm making sure y'all are watching. I'm really Usu. Haha, and
Yeah.
then turn around and watch.
Yes, I'm Usu. Now have transformed myself into this gnome for reasons.
How do I
Potion that turned me into a gnome.
This is gonna be great.
Nothing can go wrong. with
I
this
like
plan.
the idea of him like slowly shrinking back to gnome size, but still in Usu's robes. Like, I'm Usu, guys. Listen to me.
All right. Well, this is gonna take a little bit because
So, do we not want to use that crystal scrying to try to get some idea what
Do
the
you
hell's
have it
going
up?
on?
You have it loaded?
It's in my balls, my bag.
It's in
full.
your balls.
My balls of holding.
I got a tingle. Something's going on.
there is a spell that's kind of like balls of holding. It's just a sphere, and you can anyway.
Anyway,
It doesn't require attunement.
How long
So-
does attunement take?
We would have to. It varies, but I mean, generally it's like a long rest or a short rest. At least. Short rest, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, I would say for future we should attune to things.
Well, you can only attune to so many things.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't just attune to whatever you want.
is the orb of scrying attunement?
I mean,
Hey,
if
I
somebody
just have it
has
in the
slots
bag.
open.
I don't
I don't
know much
know
about
what
it.
slots people have.
I know, buddy.
I only have the ring of communication, so I think I should have some slots.
And then I'm attuned to my
Um,
gun. I'm not sure. Maybe
There's
I'm
like
placing
3
wrong,
attunement slots, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the standard.
Yeah,
but
there's 3.
unless they changed it
Yeah.
with the official one, but I'm pretty sure that the whatchamacallit class. Yeah. You know, you make magic stuff.
Artificer.
Artificer.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah, I could. I just had like it didn't come to me. I was like, "Buh," starts with an A. Artificer
Aardvark.
class. They have a cool attunement slot thing where as you level up, or it's like based on a certain stat you have, that's how many attunement slots you get, so they can end up with a ton more attunement slots.
Did you say there was a temple of the sun god in?
How many
There
did you
is
attune
in the memory ward, which is where the spires of Urek are.
to? I have 3 that I'm attuned to already.
I have 1. So.
I guess I don't have to have my dragon wings.
I don't
We
know
have
what I'm
that.
You
attuned
keep
to,
the
so-
dragon.
I know I'm
Yeah,
attuned
it's
to my
fine.
gun, and maybe my longbow, but I'm not sure what else.
Well, this is just for the scrying sphere, so it's not like
Yeah.
I can
something
do
we're
it.
gonna need always, and you have it, so
Let me look
yeah.
at your-
Okay.
I'll do it.
At the next long rest.
How long does
For your next
attunement
long
to
rest.
scrying?
Long rest.
Long rest.
A long rest.
So we're
So-
sitting here for a little bit.
Nope, we're
Or-
jumping through.
Wait, I thought you were scrying. I thought the point. Oh,
Yep, we're doing this.
you meant. Oh, it's a long rest.
Later.
That's too long.
We do it
Screw it.
later.
We're just
We do it later.
because later is not gonna matter.
don't kill us. I'm trying to
Roll.
We'll
scry.
use it later for
Roll
other
it.
things.
Longbow, your gun, and ring of communication.
Okay.
That's what you're attuned to.
I'm not willing to give up either one of those.
No, it's cool. We've got extra.
You know what?
He's got
I think
extra.
I used some kind of scrying spell, so I can do that again.
Is the ball
Scrying?
is the ball
Probably.
more powerful?
I don't know,
And I mean, he might.
but it would
He might be able to.
even if
He
it's
might be unscribable, or
if it's-
who knows, but
It's called indescribable.
inscribable.
Indescribable.
even if it's limited, it's not something that we have to wait 8 hours for.
Yeah.
So I'll just
If we try to take a rest for 8 hours, we'll change plans at least another 5 or 6
another
times.
one per hour.
Yeah.
So
The
I'll
balls will come
scry.
out for us, and then we'll be involved.
You're going to scry?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also going. Metal Child, I may ask you to go spend some time in the temple when we get there, so you stay out of this.
Metal Chap looks at you and
He's
says,
pretty helpful.
Just the-
sometimes.
the-
I would
yeah.
bring him.
the brass eyebrows just go into a frown.
Don't you give me any
Just
lip.
like,
Gave you eyebrow.
Me, me, me.
You're not so grown that I can't put you over my knee, Metal Child.
It's gonna hurt you more than
I probably just
one of the brass eyebrows just goes,
You're right, I love you too much. Let me scry.
okay,
Do
scrying.
the eyebrows ever do?
So you are scrying Usu?
Yes.
I mean, is that how that crystal ball works?
I mean, he's just using
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah,
has
yeah,
a
yeah,
spell.
It was just as opposed to having to attune to it.
Yeah, because it takes time.
Very useful item, but
Yeah.
Alright, so you know the target firsthand.
Show me Uzu and what he is up to.
That's how it works.
That is the spell.
That's the verbal component.
how long does this last?
So you start
I think
concentrating,
5 minutes. Not very long.
just like eyes half lidded, just picturing his face.
Hope he's in the bathroom.
He's on the job.
He's pooping.
He's at the buffet.
He'd be, distracted.
Yeah.
Eventually, though, after a few minutes of concentrating, your consciousness, you feel it start to leave your body, and you start to move first slowly and then faster and faster across the landscape, over mountains, and down into valleys, and out towards the coast. And you see swamps, but unfamiliar swamps. You don't know these. And then eventually an actual coastline, and a smallish city, largish town, where you eventually seem to zoom in through the window, one of the windows of this large kind of temple complex. And you see suddenly you stop, and you see the figure of Usu writing at a desk.
Can I see what he's writing?
Make a perception check.
Is this the first roll of the night?
I made it.
He made a
Oh, that's
first kind of check.
You did a digital roll.
Dear Tiamat, I think you're beautiful. I miss
7.
He's just writing Tiamat's
I
name
can't wait
over
to
and
see
over
you
in
again.
hearts and stuff on
All
his
the
notebook.
eyes are hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much. 7. Disgusting.
Mr. Usu.
And actually, I forgot something.
Uzu
They
and
need to make
Tiamat.
a wisdom saving throw real quick. Okay. What's your DC?
It's like 17. Oh no. Yeah, it's 17.
Okay.
I can't.
And so you are able to see.
Oh, cool.
Just barely.
It's very foggy.
And what did you roll for the perception check?
7.
You can't quite make out what he's writing, but from the look of it, knowing a little bit of geography, you know, he is not in Singorn right now. He is not at the Spires. He is somewhere out towards the coast at a large town with looks like a port on the east coast.
He's in a coast town? You said he's in a coast town?
Yeah, on the edges of the swamp,
On the east?
on the east side of the continent.
So not anywhere on the other side of the continent from that island, right?
Yeah, opposite side from the continent, also away from Singorn quite a bit.
Okay, so
And actually, if you describe this to them, they will recognize parts of it.
yeah,
as
okay. He's
The town of Stilben.
Still been.
I think it's a positive that he's not close to the island. Can I tell anything else from? He doesn't like move his lips when he's writing, right?
He does not. It's a fairly boring image. You watch for several minutes.
This is our chance, guys.
So maybe you could look around the room. I don't know if it would be out in the open, but see if any of those items are visible to where he's at.
Can I?
Make another perception check to see what you can see.
Yeah. Don't fuck this up for us. Oh, 19 plus 5 is 24.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew,
I look at the letter. He just feels like a spectral hand on his shoulder, like
It's like really high, but there was no point because
You do not see.
he's in a Motel 6.
You don't see any of the dragon's scales or the broomstone, the crystal that the rest of the group had brought, or anything like that around.
I didn't expect him to have them like piled up in the corner, but are there like boxes or like luggage in the room with him? Is he traveling light? Can I see?
It
anything
looks
that?
like you can't see a lot outside of just the figure, but the bits you can see kind of hazily, because you can see him very clearly, but the further you get out, the more blurry it gets, basically.
Does he have like?
But it looks like a monk's chamber almost.
Your bag of holding is just like a pouch, right?
I've never really known.
Her bag of holding is just like a pouch, right?
I mean, it's like a haversack.
Yeah, I don't know how many she
And he doesn't. I
must
can't
have
see
detached.
anything.
No, I mean, it's a very simple wooden desk he's writing at with an inkwell and a piece of leather stretched out on the desk, piece of parchment. You see, very vaguely on the edge of your perception, you can catch a very simple bed, as a priest or a monk might have in a temple.
Yeah.
He's not wearing a necklace with those. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Final
I didn't
stretched
realize
out.
that was you. I'm sorry.
At the moment, he is not. He is in the gray and blue robes that you often see the monks of the Black Dragon in. But
So
I
now you
was
know
just
what he
curious.
looks like currently.
So his first perception check was to see what was,
he's writing, and
and the next one was scanning the room. With
Yes.
that high, does he see anything interesting? That might be important to us
That's
besides.
that's
the
kind of why I
scales.
was asking about the bag, because I was like, well, he doesn't need like big boxes. He can just shove everything in a bag of holding if he has one.
that is true.
I
Yeah,
always
well,
thought
that's what I'm saying.
thought
Yeah.
it
He
fitted
may
on
or may
his
not
belt.
have the shit with him.
Otherwise, he's doing a really good job of fighting and holding a gun while holding the bag of holding at the same time.
I mean, it has like a cross strap that goes
Oh,
across.
okay.
It's a
Yeah.
fanny pack.
Exactly.
It's not huge, but it's like, it's
Yeah.
good size. And inside it's much bigger size. With that roll, you do see, on the very edge of your perception, on the opposite side of the room from the bag, kind of zooming out, and just, it's hard because the more you go out from the subject, the more blurry it is. That you see what at first you think is just a dark splotch on the floor.
He pissed himself.
And as you try to concentrate in and really strain to turn the scry, you see that there's a body just unmoving.
Human? Elf? I can't tell.
You can't tell from here. The little bit you can see, dressed in whorish clothes. Not rags, but
Monks.
not nice.
Monks' robes would be fair, just like a plain habit.
No, not sure. Different, like more brown colors. Like something more a commoner might be wearing.
He's a.
As he's just casually just like riding real boring like there's this
Yeah.
Like very distinctly not the robes of the Order of the Platinum Dragon.
Okay, and then just let me know when I'm snap back so I can.
I mean, you get to look for a good 10-ish minutes. Which is, I mean, we don't have to spend that time in real time. You don't see anything other, like I said, it's like a priest or a monk's chamber, traditionally, like. But it is in Stillben, and he just seems to be riding away. Not quickly, but the little bit of blur you got, like he's halfway down a good-sized piece of parchment, like he's writing something out.
This is Seymour right there. That's
And then the island's somewhere over here, so that's good-ish.
and he can teleport, so he can really go right.
That doesn't
where he
really mean
wants.
anything.
That's why we need to hurry.
But yes, not in Singapore at the moment.
I mean, if you've said it's a plain room, there's nothing really else to see.
Other than a dead body on the floor.
Yeah, I'll
Sorry,
snap out.
a still body on the floor.
he's forging a suicide note.
That's what I was
And I
thinking,
leave
yeah.
all of my stuff to Usu, who is so cool. And
I mean, the first time Usu saved y'all, he brought you to the Temple of the Platinum Dragon there.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll snap back and inform them of what I've seen. He's writing something. It looks like he's maybe killed a dude. He's in a city stillborn. Stillborn.
Oh.
Is it not? You didn't say stillborn.
Stillborn.
No,
That one.
yeah.
it's a very different city. Somewhere in the Nine Hells.
Okay.
Terrible place to risk.
All right.
Yeah, he's not in the city if we want to try for the temple.
Yeah, we should go.
Yep.
While
Yeah,
we're
right.
gone.
Okay, so unless we want to take a short rest,
Oh my god.
Why not a long rest?
Let's just
No,
wait here
I'm just-
for a
We are
week.
due
I mean,
for a
what are we doing?
vacation.
no, I mean I did.
Let's get to a lower elevation. We'll find a nice little chalet, and we'll just
Do
post up for a
the
while.
damn thing.
You know what?
Ability-
Life has just been work.
Ability and trait resources are meant to be spent. So I will have to use a bonus action prestigious inspiration because I don't have teleportation circle prepared, but I can prepare it
Wait,
as a
what
bonus
do you-
action.
what do you-
We should always have teleportation prepared.
No, because we use it so rarely.
How long does it take to
I
cast?
mean, on average, about every 4 sessions.
Yeah. And I also have this prodigious inspiration, which I can just change out a spell.
Oh, that works.
How long does it take to cast that?
10 minutes.
I was gonna say. It would be useful if we were. Fuck it, we're out of here.
So I just won't be able to like swap out a spell as a bonus action again, but that's no thing. I will.
Okay, yeah, so this action was subsequently reported to the authorities and taken note of by several
Oh, yeah, we have
important people
documents.
within the government of Singapore. Returning a gnomish cultist
Yeah, that was the dwarf.
Yeah, and but that letter is from Usu.
from Usu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it might be fabricated.
Fabricated.
And he was the only one that was there with you in
Where
the
was-
dungeon.
It's true.
The military notes that we found.
Yes.
There was.
Which nobody ever really took.
I
Well,
read it.
no, I put
some
I
thought
read
into it
that.
because
I didn't
there
get
was
anything from it,
something.
unfortunately.
There was an
That-
after-action report.
Yes, and one of them was like, "Yo, bright lights, weird smell, a bunch of people are dead. It's gotta be magic." And the dragon had it, and we're like, "That's something we should keep an eye on because maybe it was like something was taken." It was obviously magic enough that the dragon was interested. I don't remember what city that was in.
That was in Iman, which was
Yeah.
under siege by a huge army
I
of
couldn't.
hobgoblins.
I was just very concerned
Yeah.
that was where he was right now.
No.
Okay.
No, Iman was under siege by the hobgoblin forces who very shortly after that incident
Decided to leave.
started
He says we
retreating
should
On their own.
stop
on their
bringing
own,
it
just
to
suddenly
life,
hightailed
maybe
it back
we
down south.
shouldn't stop
Through
bringing it.
Singor, the forest, and everything.
We
Good
do the
point.
opposite with
It's
our
very
business.
unlike them, but we'll come to that when we get to it.
It was probably to keep them busy. I don't know.
Yeah. I
Teleportation
doubt-
circle
I mean, if
takes
he's got the
1
resources
minute.
of the team,
Oh, 1 minute?
Yeah.
he
Oh,
can
that's
probably
much
just
shorter
pay them
than
to
I
like, hey, detain people.
Yeah.
All right, are we teleported?
Okay, so I have enough resources to cast it 3 times, so I've reduced that to 2. And I'm going to use my rare chalks and inks. I start scribing out the teleportation circle.
Are you?
Drop a door.
And right, yeah, go ahead. I just want to see how you're doing this and how well thought out it is.
Do you have a dry erase marker? He can show you.
How
Yeah.
well does Tomsky think things out? Sometimes.
I can help you.
Touche.
I have artisan.
He's already drawn it. 60 seconds are on the clock.
Right. So I'm drawing the teleportation circle, and I'm using the runes, the rune coordinates to the permanent teleportation circle in the spires.
Mm-hmm.
Have you made yourself look like Usu yet?
I'm
We probably want to do that
Doing that in
before we get
transit.
in the.
well. That's an. Yeah, that's an. I thought it was a bonus action. No, so yeah, I guess my first action will be because the teleportation circle technically only lasts for 1 round. So my first action will be to change myself into Usu.
Okay. All right. So first, you're changing yourself into Usu, and then you're doing the.
Yep.
You're yes. Okay.
So change myself into Usu. I look at you guys and pull my arms out and kind of turn around in a circle and be like, Usu? Yeah?
I don't get that. You all look the same.
And then I start to draw a teleportation circle.
Okay. 1 minute later, the runes flare, and you all see the familiar sight of this kind of quickly rotating vortex that seems to spin off into nothingness in front of you between these glowing runes that seem to slightly lift off the ground from where he drew them.
All right,
You'll
guys.
have, once the first person steps through, you'll have 6 seconds to get through. What are we?
I mean, yeah, we've all got,
Yeah.
like, stepping through the circle is the only thing we can do now.
Okay.
All right,
I'll
so
go.
I'm
Mental
gonna,
child.
I'm gonna step
right.
through first.
Should have stuck the metal child to it.
You should,
Well, that's not-
yeah.
You should be the first
Yeah, you
one
should
in
be
there.
first.
All right,
Make sure.
I like check myself over one last time.
Oh my god, jump in.
1,
Or however this works.
2.
Go, go, go.
We're in.
Bam.
Min.
I activated my.
Child
Even I can do it.
Your
one
eyes.
time.
I'm saying y'all come like
You all
ow,
feel.
hitting behind me.
You
Hello,
all
it's
feel
me,
that,
Usu.
that feeling of like just from the navel being sucked forward and stretched out over an infinite distance and before like snapping forward, and you all kind of stumble out onto this stone
Oh, I
ground.
thought you meant like right now. We should all be quiet.
No, no, no.
Two different
yes.
2 guards at the door just kind of turn and look at you and say, "Oh, Master Usu, yes, Maker, please. We did not expect you. You were not on the schedule."
Yes, and I guess my voice sounds like Usu, however he sounds.
I mean,
I don't
make
remember.
a performance check.
Well, no, I can change my voice.
Okay, you did,
Yeah.
because you use alter self.
Alter self. So,
So, yes, your
whatever
voice-
Usu is, that's me.
It
now.
sounds like a slightly exaggerated version of Usu, but yes,
Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wondered that.
because it's how you remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I say
And these, they look at the rest of you coming through and like
Why
the
did you
heroes
call
of
him Maker?
the heroes of Karnath. We've heard about you. It's they kind of they're kind of taken aback from seeing the rest of you, and they look suddenly very just like, oh, we did not expect.
This is my hometown.
Surprise.
Where we killed.
Where we
the
killed
dragon.
the blue
But we
dragon.
weren't wanted then. they're happy to see us.
Yeah.
No, we were.
No, they
Okay,
wanted
okay,
to
guys,
chase
we're
the
in.
bounty hunters
We're
down
in.
that way. Remember?
We're in. We're in.
So I say, yes, we have
We have things to do.
the heroes and I have had urgent, important business here in Singorn, which is why we are here now. I'm sorry to inconvenience you with the schedule, but as you can see, we are all very important and need to
We need.
things.
Of course. One of them opens the heavy door that's bound in iron of this heavy oak, and out to the hallway, and just gestures through.
I turn. Okay, so
We need to go.
right as we.
I mean, you can try to remember where the study is if you want.
Let's go to the study.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I guess because we have been there.
I'm
I was-
asking in character.
Oh,
Just going to visit the wall.
Let's go to the study, okay? So then we can figure it out.
I was gonna ask one of these guys to take you there,
No.
but I mean, yeah. I guess
You know where it is.
can anybody? I guess I'll do a memory check, a memory roll.
A remembering check.
Yeah, I mean, we've been to the study. We know.
You've been there before.
I'll
That's
help him.
right. 1 sec.
It's a committee. Do you remember where it's at? Is it left, right, left, right?
Make,
I know where it is, but could you show us to make sure that you know where it is?
make an intelligence check.
Oh, you
I'm
gonna
going
do
to take them to
digital?
my study. I know it's that way.
Maybe it's a
Just checking to make sure you were paying attention.
Ah.
Straight
No, the secret study.
intelligence
You don't know
check.
Mm-hmm.
maybe you could help them by like
17.
Okay. I mean, walking out through the door, the rest of you following him. You do have a good idea. You first turn left, and then you know that the
left, a left, and a left.
this hallway goes in, this
Where we
main hallway
started.
kind of goes in a spiral up along the near the outside of the spire. This particular spire, which is the same spire that the study is in. You have a good idea where it is. When you get up to the area you're pretty sure it's in, it's a little hard because you're like, wait, was it this door or this door? Or this?
Are there any guards in the hallways? Are we like passing?
You occasionally pass somebody, and as you get up near what you kind of get the idea of is actually the studies where different makers or guides have their different offices. Basically, you start seeing a few more people in nice robes, nicer than the guards or the acolytes that you've seen before. Closer to what Usu usually wears, which is what you're wearing, and some of them start nodding to you. And in fact, as one walks by, this human-looking, long platinum blonde hair and a braid looks at you and says, "Usu, it is good to see you." And you don't recognize this person at all.
So cocktails at 6.
I'm
My
very
mind
busy.
witness be like,
We have
just politely say I'm
Say
busy.
it,
I'm
say it. I
busy.
don't feel good. I had diarrhea.
Oh no. Okay.
we haven't seen you in a while. What have you been working
Now
on?
that I've helped
Pick
them,
myself.
Oh,
Making excuses.
doesn't explain why we're following.
it's very. It's very nice to see you. It has been a long time. I've been
Not yourself lately?
swamped with very interesting things. And actually, the reason why my companions here are with me, we have to catch up soon. And as I just kind of shoo us along.
Yeah, make a
Oh no.
gosh.
You talk
Make
too
a
long.
Make a deception check.
Keep it vague.
I thought I
Don't
did.
even look up. Just go.
I was like, yeah, it's great to see you. Been busy.
He needs a clipboard.
Oh god.
Deception. Yep. Totally awesome. Deception stats.
Can I help him by going like?
Oh,
you can
Can we
try to
get?
help.
Can we get going? We have
Yeah.
stuff to do.
So
No, we don't
with
have
that,
to-
you can roll at advantage with that. I'll say. Okay. How much better was that?
Oh, a good bit.
Is that
13.
Okay.
It was a
13.
This woman, she stares at you for a moment, kind of frowning. Before a halfling in plate mail suddenly kind of runs up from around the side and says, "Oh, there you are. Fine. Are we going to the
To me or her?
no to the woman who's been
Okay.
talking to you and says, and the woman says, oh, yes, sorry. I'll see you later." And
We'll catch up.
they
Your people get in touch with my people through lunch.
kind of walk off
Stop
arm in arm.
talking.
Yeah. Less is more, dude.
A couple minutes later, you figure out which door you're supposed to go through. You recognize it because
We
you
open
see
any.
there's this small
This door
symbol of the platinum dragon kind of pressed into the middle of the latch, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's
That's the
duh."
one.
Coming in, you find that same study that's kind of slightly widening as it goes out towards the edges of the spire. Looks bigger than it should be somehow. Everything in here, every room in here, from what you know about the size of the spire, looks much larger than it should be, able to fit inside.
Magic.
Yeah.
Magic.
It's great.
But it's this familiar study lined with bookcases, a desk over towards the far wall of Usu. As you all walk in, the lanterns start glowing brighter. Not with flame, but just with this magical orb inside, as all the lights inside the spire have been. And on the hearth, a fire springs up. It's very cheery looking.
There's a book on the desk. T-Mat, Why I Love Her. Uzu.
Okay, so I stand at the door
My own private journal.
and I kind of like
Don't it's one of those like dollar store lots.
Okay, yeah. Don't we need to be careful, like if something magically
Yeah, he's
trapped
Right,
or,
He's
like,
going
so-
to know we were here.
I-
Have I seen anything magic?
like can't things like erase
'Cause you
themselves
have your
if
eyes
someone
up.
tampers with
Yeah.
it or something
Um,
like that? Isn't that a thing?
Almost
Or is that
every
just
guard
fine?
you've passed has a magic weapon, at least. As you've gotten higher in the spire, especially the woman
I'm
who
blinded.
talked to Chomp,
Just leading you along.
the woman who talked to Chomp had several magic items on her. Very powerful magic items. Like, you're not sure exactly what they did exactly, but they were. And even the halfling that walked up in plate mail, her entire plate mail was magic, as
What
was
do
her
you mean
sword.
even the halfling?
Everything is magic. I'm just saying.
okay. I
Like,
assure.
not just the people who have robes, the people in
And you call them
armor
the
too.
makers?
Well, from what you've gathered, there's the makers who are the kind of high level
Okay.
Okay.
practitioners, and there's the guides who are the slightly lower but still very powerful.
It was the first time
practitioners.
I had heard that, and I was like, he got an automaton?
And
What?
then there's acolytes who are the kind of the students. Yeah.
I also okay. So I usher everyone in and kind of like peek out the door, shut the door. Is there any kind of lock that I see? A
There's
latch?
a little
Yeah, just any kind of simple.
bolt lock.
All right, I lock it behind us. Also, side note, I thought about it as we were walking away when we talked to the guard at the teleportation circle. We so could have covered our asses and said like, oh, and by the way, someone comes through this portal who looks just like me. Arrest him immediately.
But you didn't say that.
I didn't. I
As
thought
you
I
walked
just
into the
God,
room, sir.
that would have been great.
Steve, you can go back.
Nearly every surface
Oh, I forgot.
in this room has some kind of enchantment or binding on it, including the door you just walked through.
Uh-oh.
That we just locked
Well,
behind
wouldn't I
us.
have said?
He's going to know we're here. There's like no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't want to get locked.
Yes,
in
I mean
or-
before you walked in, you would have noticed that
Surface, what do your
there is
tiefling
an
eyes see?
enchantment over the door. Specifically, not a protection spell, but something related. Just an alarm
An
spell.
alarm spell. Okay, we have to get to the doors.
Well, I would have stopped them if I saw that, right?
I mean, you would have. So we don't.
Yeah.
You're in the hallway outside. You don't see all this happen right now, but there is an alarm on the door.
Yeah, I like.
So where was it going?
You can try to do it if you like.
We
There's an
could,
alarm on the door.
we could try to dispel it, but I feel like he's going to know it's dispelled.
I feel like he's probably already heard.
Besides the door, do you think he like? I mean, the whole office. He might have all kinds of like. Is it gonna
We
be?
don't-
But I mean, yeah. If anybody has like some.
We just need to go to the room with the doors.
I thought we
need to go
needed to
get
get
our
the
stuff.
I
stuff.
thought we needed to get stuff out of the office.
We don't know that it's in the office.
Otherwise,
Yeah, I don't
We're
even
on
know,
a
like-
schedule though. That thing lasts an hour.
Uh-huh.
You're only gonna look
Okay.
like Usu
You've
for
been
an
about 15 minutes.
Right. So I mean, does anybody have like a quick, easy thing they can try on this door? And if not, let's just open it.
I thought we were
And then
40 minutes.
hurry.
I think we just retconned back out.
Yeah,
Because he
because
was
I would have
seeing the
stopped
alarm
it
and
if
not
I
had
saw
just
that.
let us walk
Because
in.
he had his magic eyes up.
I can try to dispel it. Like I said, if it goes off, he might know. If it
Probably
doesn't,
gonna
we're
know,
in
but
the
we-
worst shape.
We can-
and it's just a game of time.
Just,
Yeah.
I mean,
I-
he's still got to get there.
I suggest we find our exit and come back. We don't have enough time. We just take the exit, like you said. Fuck the world, right?
Kind of a great plan. Okay, so now we know where the study is, so we can get back here quickly. And good to know.
If you want to find you're looking for the portal to the City of Doors. Roll a investigation check as you walked up to the studies.
Do you have any like contact poison?
I don't
We
mean
do
like,
actually-
Because that'd be great to
Cheat
just
the
pull
game
the
or anything.
doorknob.
I used my
I was here
venom.
too, right?
I used my serpent's venom
so we
already.
can't put our heads
But I
together.
do have.
With our luck, it would just kill a janitor.
No, I
We're,
used the
we're playing it
assassins.
fast and loose, right?
Investigation?
Yes, because you were actively like trying to look out as you were going up.
Yeah, because we had that plan as we walked.
Alright.
So I guess we're probably all assisting them, but it would still be the same thing.
It's a 20.
All right.
Nice.
On the way up, not far from
Is
the
that 2 rolls?
chamber you came in. Not far from the chamber you came in through, you recognize some of the things going on. You see that there's portal doors, or doors that are marked for chambers that have portals inside them for different planes. Some that are barred and chained up with like iron and seem welded shut. But there is one that you see that does have a lock on the door, not barred or anything, but does obviously have a lock on the door that has the symbols for what you recognize as the City of Sigil.
Did you say we're kind of back to where we started from?
I mean, that's on the way up. You saw that again.
Do we want to stop it and tell the guards, hey, be on the lookout for that monster?
Can we
We're
get in
passing
that door?
by again?
Is
I'm not going to rewind that much because you didn't think
No,
about that.
because we're walking
we're, like,
past
okay,
that place
okay.
again.
There are a few guards around, not specifically outside that door, but every once in a while there's guards patrolling. So
Was there
Oh, just
anything
maybe
on that
like
door?
just tell one of the guards to go down there and
Is there anything on that
inform
door?
the standing
on
guards.
that door,
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Sure. I think it's a good
there's
idea.
no magical
It'll buy
enchantment
us
on the door.
maybe 5 minutes while he incinerates
Yeah.
him.
If you do walk up to it and
Yeah,
try it,
it'd be a good idea.
it is
I'm just
a
gonna
lock
send,
latch.
send one of the guards down there that I see.
It is
Mhm.
a heavy looking lock on it. Like it's not just a
I would
simple
like to-
lock. It's like
Copy down some of those
complicated looking.
runes from some of the other teleportation
Yeah, you
circles, but that
should.
takes a little while.
Uh,
I mean,
how
a minute or two. I don't know, however long it.
Well, let's find the room we
Anyway.
need first, and then.
I mean, none of these are teleportation circles. Most of these are portal doors.
Yeah, that
okay.
would be in the other
Oh,
area.
The main chamber you came in through, which
Yeah.
is a good sized chamber, is the teleportation circle for this location.
Could I use Artisan to help him with that at all? Or just
But,
like
I mean,
sketch
just-
him out myself? Or
We're not necessarily going back down there, but what I did want to do is one of the guards that we see, like just in the hallway, I want to stop and say,
These are really good.
you,
Yeah, the
I need-
queso ones are great.
I tell just with some guard walking by to go down to the teleportation room, and or I ask him who's on guard in the teleportation room.
Yeah, that would be Frank and Sydney.
Ah, yes.
Frank and Sydney.
I need you to give a message to Frank and Sydney. Tell them that I have reason to believe a mage or shapeshifter perhaps might be trying to infiltrate the tower. So bring a message to them telling them that if anyone comes to the teleportation circle who looks like me or any of my
I would
friends
just say
here,
you.
me, then detain them and come find me immediately.
They look at you real quick, kind of frowning, and say, "Hold on now. How am I supposed to know that you're not the?"
I don't have time for these games.
Make a deception check.
Goddamn.
At advantage, because you do look like Uzu.
you should have
wasn't
told him it
using
was a
good
Rakasha.
ideas.
Because Rakashas are cool.
What did we say?
I mean, pretty cool. They killed one.
Oh, man. There's a lot of stuff I miss.
By the way, how we did it?
Yeah.
We buffed our melee and let them beat the shit out of them.
I mean, that worked pretty well.
Okay.
They should have
Very
ran.
cool, though.
Dessa 14.
They look at you a little even closer and say, I don't know, you seems kind of sketchy.
Is that the way you talk to the...
What is happening with...
The Heroes of Karnath.
Is that the way you talk to
Heroes
the
of
maker?
Karnath.
You just say, oh, you're very sketchy today?
Oh, let me
Can I try talking to him?
check with my supervisor.
We're the,
He is your
okay.
supervisor.
We
Yeah.
Heroes of Karnath. Okay, bye.
And they
No,
go,
I understand,
they
sure,
bring
you're
out a
the-
small
yes.
room
Please.
rock and kind of speak into it.
It's bring up the rock. This is my supervisor.
This is
it's a rocky
this
talk.
rock
Guys.
of
We
it's
have to
this,
jump
it's
to
this
the
small
corner right now.
room carved rock that kind of
Rocky talk.
flares with a little bit of glow as he brings it out.
More useful than my boss.
It's basically it's an arcane walkie-talkie.
It's going to be that blonde woman.
Oh no.
Is there anybody else
Well,
in the
you
hall?
did come through several minutes ago. Still,
You were here
With
With
first.
the
so you
Heroes
must
of
be the right guy.
Karnath.
Can I just lean over and punch
No,
this
no,
guy?
no, just no. He's in charge.
We've been having a rough day. We apologize.
I'm trying to keep the spires safe,
Look,
and this is
hey.
the help that I get.
Slap out of it.
we'll take it under advisement. Still looking at you, kind of like not sure what to do, but having heard that you did come through into the spires just in the last few minutes, it still looks a little suspicious, but it wanders off. You're not sure how effective that was.
Oh god.
Are we near any?
Okay.
We need to get in the portal right now, you guys.
I was going to say, is there any like
Sweet,
portals or
I think
anything
We have to get
near
through
us?
the portal.
So you
called
know where the
door.
portal is, which is through a
Before we
locked
get
door.
through.
You know where the study is, which has theoretically
Nope.
everything you want in it, but is through a alarmed and locked door.
Not worth all.
No.
Should I have told him
We
that?
just need to go to the door room.
Because that's even assuming that the
That's all
alarm
we
is
need.
just going to Uzu. It could
We
go
need
to
to
like,
unlock it.
you know,
Well,
it
I
could go
was
to
gonna
like a
ask.
guard center and have somebody at the door in like 5 minutes. It's not worth going to the
I
study
can
right now.
bust the
Should I
door
should I
down.
should I tell that guard that
No,
if he sees
No.
me again to make sure it's me, the code word's hand banana?
no. You need to stop talking.
We
You
should
need to
be
stop talking. Is what you
because
need.
I don't
Challenge
think
word.
Uzu would
Challenge
choose.
word.
I don't think Uzu would say, "Hey, look, if you see me, just say hand banana." Does he strike you as a hand banana kind of guy?
Nobody does. That's why it's the greatest code word.
We're going to the door.
I say hand, you say banana.
Hand.
If somebody says lemon,
I'm with Crop. Let's go through the door.
We have to
Yeah.
figure out a way to get
We
in
are
there
on
to
the
go.
clock.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what the door to the door of doors?
Yes.
it's locked.
Doors.
Here's the thing: we have to get in there. Do you have a way to get in the door magically?
I mean, you have a rogue with
Yes,
you
I have-
who could pick the lock.
True.
Maybe.
I do have you yes.
I
It's a
also
little
have-
suspicious. Someone down there.
Just like doing the thing, standing in front of
Shoulder
the
to
door.
shoulder.
door.
Come on, guys. Just
But it might
Double
be locked,
disadvantage.
like,
Okay, I have pass wall where I can just literally just make a hole through the door or the wall or
yes,
whatever.
that. We're
I
already
didn't know
busted.
that was a thing.
We're already busted. We
It's a
just
spell I
go
picked
through
up
the wall.
Yeah.
I think at the last level.
Kool-Aid Man.
And it's kind of cool.
Oh well, I guess it only needs one. But
I mean, it's not exactly subtle. There'll be a giant hole
We're
there for
already in trouble.
Surface.
an hour.
Yeah.
Just so
Oh.
you know, looking around as you've been watching with your magic eyes. I mean, not everything has an enchantment on it, but there are enough, like just general enchantments over different walls and ceilings of the building that it becomes hard to know what will trigger what in this building.
oh yeah,
The door itself doesn't seem to have anything specifically on it, but you don't know what might be around.
I mean, we could try to pick the lock,
I
and
can
if that
pick the
doesn't
lock.
work, I can do
Pick-
pass
yeah,
wall
pick a
like
lock.
I'll pick a lock.
in a second as the nuclear option.
How far away is the thing? The
Between
library?
between the study and the door.
Yeah.
About a 10-minute walk.
Can you?
You might be able to run it in
Can you miss these things?
5 minutes.
To the other
You
side
can
of the
run
door?
across the
No, you have to
I
see
can-
where you're going.
Okay.
Oh, hold on.
Pick
So-
the lock.
All right, I'm gonna pick the
Yeah.
lock.
Pick the lock.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what I was going to say was, maybe while some people can pick the lock, the rest of us go to the library.
But that separates the party.
What am I gonna do with books?
It also separates any cards. coming
Books
through
aren't
an
heavy
alarm.
enough to
That's
kill
true.
people.
I want to not live in a library. But
I mean, if you want to, I'll
Y'all
stay
can go to
here.
the library.
I'll stay here with.
I mean, I don't have a
pick the
ton of
lock.
time left on all this,
okay,
But
but
you're coming up on half an hour, 40 minutes now.
Oh no.
I mean, I would love to get some of them books.
I mean, at the same time,
books.
though, just to play devil's advocate,
Yeah.
Uzu came through the door with the Heroes of Karnak.
Yeah.
Uzu went somewhere else.
Which,
and
which
now
we
the
say
Heroes-
now, like we know what kind of weight that holds.
But,
Apparently,
like,
we're all the heroes.
You could, oh yeah, Uzu had to go somewhere. He told us to get this book from him or something like.
Y'all, if we get
He said
busted
to make
and you're
ourselves
not
known.
Usu anymore, we act like, oh no, he tricked us the whole time. That
Okay,
wasn't Usu.
you guys
Let's go.
also
Okay,
have
let's
you
go.
guys
All right.
also have the coin of communication that has like the thing that might help. Like Luke, we're here from Uzu.
Yeah.
A coin.
Yeah. And let's make sure it doesn't.
Here's some more coins if you ignore us. If you want to
Oh,
split up,
God.
I'll stay with
Did you pick the lock?
Rowan.
Yeah, we're gonna pick the lock.
okay.
What are we doing?
I don't think we should split up though, because like
Okay,
we're
well,
splitting
we'll pick the lock.
I'm
If
picking
we
the
want to
lock
open the
right
door.
now. Okay.
Then we'll go together, maybe get some shit, and then come back.
Run through the
should
library
run
and
and go
grab the
get
books.
I was going to borrow the bag.
The bag holding
Roll
thing.
for a sleight of hand.
Oh,
No.
run!
That
Whatever
bag
I can
holding
fucking
I get to
Roll that
re-roll
shit.
that one, right? Because now they have that
Focusing
power.
on anything
Which-
that looked like
what
it
do you
could
got?
stop the stuff.
Well,
Did you roll a 1?
No,
No.
but that one thing you gave me
Just all
last
picking
time
books. What did they even
What
have?
about
you got?
I can roll. Oh, it's on here somewhere.
I don't know if I gave it.
Reliable talent.
Oh, reliable talent.
The under
That's
10 thing?
Yeah.
Anything.
Or lower. Yeah. This lets you add your proficiency bonus. You can treat a D20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10. That's right. I can't reroll anything. Okay,
Well,
good. That's much better.
Yes, so anything below a 10,
Yeah.
10 you can treat as a, or 9 or lower you can treat
Okay,
as 10.
so a 23.
Oh, gosh. Even with that, I mean, it's a pretty complicated
Bless
lock,
you.
but you're just. Takes you a minute, and the rest of you kind
Bless
of
you.
standing, like, pretending to, like.
We're discussing things.
Small talk,
Yes,
small talk,
yes.
small talk.
I'm just handing out pamphlets. Hello, if you are passing by, there is a pamphlet on this.
It takes a minute,
Does anybody take
but suddenly from behind you, you hear. Snap.
It's Gesundheit.
As the lock is undone. The door isn't open yet, but the lock is unlocked.
We just pushing people through the door?
What are we doing?
I mean, I'm fine.
Because Sirtha seemed to want to not open the door right away.
We don't.
It's up to.
I'm.
We don't have time to
I-
like
No,
poke
we don't.
around.
We can't.
I don't think that the library is going to pay off the way people think it's going to pay.
No, and the fact that if I go there with you, remember
Libraries are
the.
great.
I have no.
I mean, they
disagreement
worked
there.
out for you well so far.
Well,
My
the
thing
time
is
I
like-
went
We
to-
don't have time.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Oh yeah, I
That's
know.
just
I
me.
understand.
it's a
can't afford right
study,
now.
not a library.
And if we do go to the library, like
So-
the library,
Oh yeah, like
that's to
his.
where I blew off that woman. Yeah, the woman I got a date with.
What?
Oh yeah.
You are worried about breeding and you're turning down breeding
No,
partners?
I got one of the people who was showing us around the library to go on a date with me and on
So
with
the
Rowan,
lock
and
is
then he stood her
unlocked.
up
What do you want to do?
because he went to the underworld.
What do you guys want to do?
Well, I guess
We
we're.
have 15 minutes.
I guess.
Yeah, how many minutes?
Time to go through the door.
Okay, if here's the thing about going into the study.
Let's go.
If you go into the study,
No, we're going to the door of doors.
Okay, good. Because I was gonna say, like, what if the alarm is like now the door shuts and you can't get out?
Yeah, there's a
Speed.
ton. It's magic, man.
I'm going through the door.
16, 17.
We're
We're
going.
going.
No, we're going.
Let's
I'm
go.
pushing y'all through the door.
20.
Yeah,
Metal Chad, come
Shut
on.
the door behind
I'm
us.
jumping through the portal.
I'm jumping after
What
you.
do you
Door
see when we
opens.
open the door?
Wow.
You see a small, about 10 by 10 room with what looks like just a basic door frame in the midst of it. I mean, it looks like there's nothing through the door frame, but there's just small runes carved in the edges of this. Almost looks like a closet door frame.
Damn.
Do an etching.
This just
Yeah, Get the rooms, and
Yeah.
I'm jumping through.
It's not exactly
Allons-y.
but
Like there's thousands of rooms,
Yeah.
very
Oh,
small
never mind.
rooms carved into the
yeah,
side
this
of this
is
thing.
this isn't
That's why he did
teleportation.
As you
circle
walk
is
through
the
the door, you hear a
It's a TARDIS.
Somebody left the vacuum on.
No.
It's a
Just
TARDIS.
this-
It's how it's supposed to sound.
as you open the door to the room, you
yes.
hear an alarm basically
Is
start
that
to go
is
off,
that is
I'm
a
and
lot.
the
jumping
light
through the
starts
door.
to
I think that's our
Flare a
goodbye
little bit.
signal.
Yeah, can we go through this?
In character,
Okay, yeah.
I'm jumping.
Who's
through
going
the
through? You're going through first.
I'm going through first.
As
I'm
you all
going through
watch,
second.
Crom jumps through this door frame and just disappears.
And I say like, hey, but I don't know if it's turned on. Oh, well, I guess it's turned on.
All
Let's
right,
go.
Metal Chad, come on. After the big one.
And I create bonfire on the doorway.
The not the doorway that we're going through. The
No.
doorway that we opened.
The doorway that you open.
Okay.
Just as Crom jumps through.
As y'all jump through, you find the
No.
experience of portaling is different than teleporting. Instead of just feeling sucked forward, through a great distance, you
You're
feel
ripped
like
apart.
every molecule
Yeah.
of your body is deconstructed to the atomic level, down to nearly nothing basically, and then reconstructed on the other side as you just suddenly come back to consciousness, stepping out of what and into directly the first of you, Crom. You just come face first into what looks like a closet door.
Ouch.
You know people are coming after you. What are you doing? Like you there is no room between where you stepped out and where this closet door is.
It's just like in Rookie.
Your
of the
hand
Year.
comes just
Hand on
out just in, and just your right hand touches a doorknob.
Then I open it. Crom
And
would open it.
It opens and you come out. The first thing you
Close
see
another door.
is several desks
Okay.
set up, just
It's in the elemental plane of fire.
papers, in out and in boxes in different places. Several people kind of rushing around, some with visors on, some almost all, it seems, with glasses on. One at the end of the room seems to be a large humanoid wolf of some type that's just talking to somebody, taking papers, giving out papers to another. Just activity seems to be going everywhere. It's some kind of administrative office, it looks like.
Interdimensional couriers.
As the rest of you kind of
Bureaucrats
bump into
everywhere.
That's what I
Crom
was
from
just
the
thinking.
back as each of you comes out of this door, you find yourselves in what looks like a government office. Somebody walking by, it looks, you can't quite pick up what race they are. They look like they might be some type of cross between a toad and a cat and something else. Vaguely humanoid, walks by and says, "More tourists," and just kind of walks off towards another one of the desks. Just busyness going
We're just smiling out through.
on all around you. This good-sized room, like a good 80 feet long, but maybe about 40 feet wide.
I think you've turned back into you, and you're no longer looking like Usu.
No, he still looks like Usu.
I guess I'm used to for a few more minutes.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you want to be.
Yeah.
You can end it at any
Just
point.
think it's a good idea for
I think
Usu to be here.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know. I think we should put
As soon as we
him
get
in
out
of
the
idea.
office. Yeah, I think we do push him in front and see how people go over.
No. Crom will handle this.
Let's shut the closet door.
Hello,
behind us.
fellow bureaucrats.
Hello. I'm new here.
It's my first day.
People
Just
are
got
walking back and
transferred.
forth, and the first couple, as you're speaking, just don't even pay attention to
I need
you.
to speak to your manager.
As you say that, one of the ones near you, who looks maybe elfin-ish, slightly pinkish, like skin, like more than just like human, like pink, but like pinkish skin, kind of stops and says, "Raul, yes, let's go over here." And kind of just gestures and starts kind of scurrying away towards the largest desk at the end of the room.
These
that
are
you
all
saw.
the people watching us on
Okay.
Twitch.
Who are we supposed to see here? Did we know the person's name that we were to find?
I don't think we ever did.
You remember that it was supposed to be a. Let's see, what did Usu tell you?
Oh no.
There was
More Usu information.
I'll tell you when the time is right.
there was a blacksmith of some type, a smith of some type here in the city.
Hephaestus.
The last name was Trollcoat.
Yes.
You don't remember the first name.
Well, okay.
Okay, let's go talk to Raul.
Where is Raul?
Following this kind of pinkish-skinned elven humanoid, you go over to this busiest desk in the room near the end. That's slightly larger than all the rest. At kind of the end of this long row of desks where everybody is either. Some of them are. It seems scribbling away on things. Others are typing away on typewriters that look very similar, if a little bit different in design than the one that the middle child is just cradling in his arms. As he
Man, I
walks
was going
along.
to use that as like a barter thing.
They got him here. They got him here.
You were going to use the middle child?
No, the typewriter.
Oh,
Like, look, I can speed this whole thing up for you.
But coming up to this desk, you see what is a good
Use
size.
paint.
I mean, that's someone who
Oh.
is you
All
know is related to this city.
I wrote it down.
That sounds ominous.
You just blurt that out as you come on.
Oh, you want to see the boss?
You might not want to do that.
Okay, never mind.
She and Usu did not get along.
But coming up to this large desk, you see this wolfen humanoid you recognize as a good 8 foot tall werewolf, with a waistcoat on, pocket watch and all, spectacles, what looks like a kind of greenish brown visor, who is just taking something from one of their underlings at the moment. And by the way, the waistcoat and visor and spectacles are the only thing this individual has on. They're Porky Pig and otherwise.
There is on Thingiverse a werewolf in like a vague maitre d' outfit.
That's about perfect. Yeah.
If you're looking for something, it's out
I
there.
mean, I don't know that you're all gonna fight this individual.
Oh,
We will.
he's joining the party. No, okay.
But
so,
as you walk up, they kind of look up at you, just with this weariness in his eyes, just like, yes, and papers, please.
I take it you know why I'm here. I'm trying to see if he recognizes me.
I mean, you have some kind of magic something going on. Papers.
I hand him a pamphlet.
Is this the Black Dragon?
Thank you.
Is it the Black Dragon? That
Do we have any papers?
No, Usu, when he went to the city
Totally
of
illegal
Doors,
here.
he had some kind of run-in, I think.
As you are all walking up to this desk, like people are shuffling up and down the kind of row of desks here, and just kind of bumping into you annoyingly, just making.
Listen, Raul, I'll cut to the chase. We need to see the fabricator, the maker, the one who builds the things.
Blacksmith. Troll pants.
What are you
Troll
talking
pants?
about?
Troll
Look,
pants.
he opens your pamphlet and says, just so you know, the powers not allowed here. You can use their powers, but they are not allowed physically in the city. But otherwise, have a
can
nice
keep
day.
that one.
And just kind of.
Oh.
Since we're on this subject, I don't know if you saw, but I have my companion here also. Is that last year's model? Because this is the new typewriter.
Doesn't even move his head, just eyes flick up at you and says,
That's a nice typewriter, but have you seen
Is that a prime type? No. No! Get out.
this way into the city? Okay.
Mercy
Come on.
killers! Guards!
No!
Oh no.
Where's Troll Pants?
You guys.
Troll coat!
Troll Coat?
Troll coat.
Alright,
A troll coat.
Yeah, so we just need to see Troll Coat.
Bring me a steward. You hear some shuffling from the back, and this dark red individual, who doesn't seem to be wearing any clothes, but as you get up closer, it looks like some
It's
kind of
casual Friday.
demon or something. Like has horns coming out of its head. This dark red, a little smaller than you as a gnome. At least some of you would recognize this as an imp.
Ooh.
Just kind of bounds up and says, "Yes, Kroon is my name. How may I be of assistance?" And Raul,
No, he's Kroon.
he
works here.
What's his first name?
Kroon.
What's his last name?
It's just
Kroon.
Kroon. It's just
Kroon.
Kroon.
Kroon. It's like Krun.
No, Croon. He's a
No.
great singer.
Crom. I'm Crom.
Kroon.
Crom.
But looking up at the werewolf kind of towering, about your height actually, but towering over the rest of you, says, Steward, newbies, show them the ways, and just ignores you.
I'm going to be putting a pamphlet in every inbox on our way into the city.
The imp kind of hops along and kind of beckons you to follow them, and it kind of takes you towards what looks like a nice wooden door with a glass window transom over top that says, some of you can read it backwards, but says Bureau of Customs and Traditions, and opens the door out into a large marble hallway, into a much larger space where you see there's several doors like this with different names of different departments and things on them, going back and then turning a corner with a central. It's a large, old-looking edifice of a government building, and you're inside of it. Guards seem to be walking by in full plate mail, just black with a little bit of copper trim on it, and kind of give you the eye as you come out the door. But keep
good here.
At least we get outside, yeah.
And the steward, Kroon, the imp, keeps beckoning you.
Okay.
This way. Yes.
How long you been working here, Kroon? Oh, that's not really an answer.
And it says something. Do any of you speak Abyssal?
Yeah.
Well, you hear it as about a dozen years.
Do you like
Before
it?
that, I was in shipping.
35 Jeremy Barrys.
35 Jeremy Barrys.
What?
But in common
Good
to the rest
place.
of you says, sorry, it's hard to remember, but have you all ever been to Sigil?
No, this is our first time. Be gentle.
Really? That's okay. Do any of you have any idea of anything that goes on here?
No, please tell us. I'm confused.
And this entire time, it's kind of leading you slowly, kind of turning around and walking backwards with his little clawed feet. along
Out
the
of
ground.
curiosity, where are you taking us? Just to the city?
We're just going out to the main streets.
Okay, that's good. I was like, in here's jail.
I have been assigned to explain things so that you are not immediately killed upon exiting
thank
the
you.
building.
That is a very,
We
very
could have
good
we could have really used somebody like you
Oh,
in
wow.
a lot of
We're gonna love
places.
you.
Well, I will not be with you for long, but let me tell you. There are several things you should know. There are 6 wards to the city, depending on what you are looking for. There's the Guildhall ward, there is the Market ward, the Ladies ward, the Lower ward, the Hive ward, and the Clerks ward.
Gee, that
I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say we're in the clerk's ward.
Yeah.
You are in the Clerks ward. That's very good.
Clarksworth?
Clerk's ward.
Clerk's ward.
The others being the Hive ward, Lower ward,
Horde?
Lower ward,
Horde.
Hive, lower,
the
upper, guild.
Ladies ward.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have a map?
Hive.
No.
Hive?
That would make
The
this a lot easier.
Hive ward, the
Lower,
Market ward,
Market.
and
Ladies.
the Guildhall ward.
How many you get there?
As for time in
Guild Hall.
the City of Doors, the cage, as some of the locals refer to it, there is peak and anti-peak. There is no day, night, as it were, just slightly darker, slightly lighter. In fact, there is no sun. But
I don't
think of peak as noon, anti-peak as midnight.
If a lizard could sweat, is it?
If you should come across a floating woman with swords flying all around her, turn the other way and run.
Would that happen to be? It is the stab in the dark. No pun intended with the sword. The Lady of Pain.
That would be her.
What is that all about?
Yes. In any case, the construction of the ward occurred, well, of all the wards, occurred Well, constantly, really. We're not sure how far back it goes, but they're constantly being reconstructed. Sometimes larger, sometimes smaller. Be careful when you exit the building. Some of you may feel the need to vomit.
Oh, no.
It is always best to keep the eyes down. Try not to look for a horizon. There is none. Just so you know. Looking up, you may see the other side of the city. There's also the spire. Do not try and attempt to reach the spire. You will be killed.
Don't go to spy.
Should you be looking for lodging, may I suggest the lower ward?
You know.
Lodging on lower ward.
Okay.
As many primes as yourselves feel more comfortable there.
Krun, may I ask a silly question?
There are no silly questions, only stupid askers, please.
I mean, Guildhall carries the same meaning as it does on our plane. All the craftsmen, all the makers, that's where they live.
One would think, but no, actually, it's something entirely different.
Oh, that's fair enough.
It is the guilds, the different. The guilds here are not the same as the guilds where you might be experienced with them. They are political organizations almost entirely. Except for that, and often they are entirely religious or entirely who knows what. I don't know, but we are among the fated here, among this guild that runs the clerks.
Oh, that's good. Good for you.
I don't care what you think.
That's fair.
In any cases, as I said, lodging can be found in the lower wards. Of course, the air there is fairly poisonous, so try not to breathe it much or for a long period of time.
What is the currency here?
What do you have?
One copper.
What do you need?
I mean, there is much barter.
Okay.
Platinum,
Okay.
gold,
Babies.
people.
Teeth.
Yes, babies. Thank you. Teeth. That is depending on the shop you're in. Gold pressed latinum. That also works. You know,
Dilating
Bitcoin? Is that
I have heard of some trading this. Yes.
Well,
In any case, before you leave, and as he says this, you find you are suddenly at these large double doors that seem to be leading to an outdoor area. And you don't even know quite how he got there, and it was kind of all a blur. But is there anything else you want to know while you are
Yes,
here?
we'll fill out your comment card and give you a good rating. You were a great guy.
Thank you, I was about to ask that.
Is
Yes.
there a place we can get a map?
I mean, probably. I'm not sure how accurate all those maps will be.
Do you? They said I can't use my. I have some powers bestowed upon me by a deity in my plane, but they said not to use them.
You can use any powers you need here, any
the deity just
magic or anything you might. If any of the deities sets foot in this plane,
Okay, that.
the Lady of Pain will trap them in a labyrinth of.
Well, she can try. Second, do you don't happen to work off the clock, do you? Because we could really probably use a guide and. When we have something,
Are you?
might be.
Is there such a thing as off the clock?
They look at their wrist and you realize there is a watch there.
17.
They're like they slide up their skin and there's a watch there.
Up their skin.
Ew.
Like there's a fold of skin that.
Oh. That's not any.
I'm off in 5 minutes and I do not work off the clock. Thank you very much.
You know
Bye.
what?
And you
You
find
need
you are
your-
outside the doors and they have slammed it in your face.
You need your own private
more
time, and
questions.
I'm going to slide a pamphlet under the doors.
They crack the door. Your question?
Oh, where
Door
can we
closed.
find forge?
Hey, Smith.
You
Smith-
might try
Smith.
the market ward, or for that matter, the lower ward.
Okay.
I'm going to use one of my cantrips to cast light on my sun medallion because I find the presence of no sun very unnerving. So now I've got like a little night light around my neck.
Okay.
Oh wow.
I don't think you really need that because it's like
You shut up!
looking at this door suddenly for a second time, slamming your face after you ask your question. Turning,
He never gave us the comment card.
looking around, could all of you
Oh dear.
The Lady of Pain.
make a quick... You can choose either a Constitution or a Wisdom saving throw.
I'll do this.
Okay.
Ooh. You can choose which.
Constitution or wisdom?
18
Constitution
plus
or wisdom?
9 is a big number.
And what was the throw?
I got an 18
Yes.
plus 9.
Of Wisdom?
Yes.
Okay. I need to know which, because it
Oh,
will be a
I'm
different
sorry,
thing depending on which.
Is it-
I'm definitely Wizzy.
It's not against magic, is it?
Nope.
No tights.
It is not. It is against vertigo, basically.
21.
27? Is
18
plus Twitch
Yeah.
fans.
21.
Is
10.
18 plus
10,
9 27?
Constitution or...
Oh, I'm sorry, Constitution.
Wisdom? Constitution.
Wisdom will be
25?
lower.
Okay.
18 plus?
9. 27.
15
27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15.
You got
15
that
plus
first
5.
switch. You can go next time.
Or
Wisdom.
Wisdom. Constitution, wisdom. Constitution or wisdom?
Constitution.
Well, it doesn't matter because you
Come
passed.
on.
And Chomp. Or Chomp.
I got wisdom 8.
You and I are sick together.
Okay, so, but differently, because you're on
Combined
Constitution,
piles.
he's on wisdom.
That's true.
Roland,
It's
looking out, all of you see, looking out, the ground in front of you seems to curve off just slightly left to right, as well as in front of you slightly. And it's very disorienting, and just as your eyes go up, you see that the ground, what should be flat ground, seems to go in a hill up in front of you, but also in a hill to the side of you, and a hill to the other side of you. And as your eyes go up more, you realize it just keeps going up, and then eventually around and through haze, probably through several miles of haze, with a small, looks like the very tip of a mountain coming up, or something coming up through it. From your view, almost sideways, you see just little twinkling of lights and small outlines of various, what looks like small buildings in a ring,
Motel 6, they let
in like a line on the other side that connects to the hill you seem to see on the other side. And you realize that you are on the inside of a huge curved ring with something in the middle. A general just glow seems to illuminate everything. A little bit of haze and a little bit of just acrid rain is falling at the moment.
Not a sphere?
Nope.
It's a ring.
Yes, because there are a couple different descriptions of sigil, and based on some of the older stuff and based on a lot of things, we're going to go with a Taurus.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
It was in Donut World.
We're on Halo.
Yeah.
So you can see across to the very other side. It is disorienting for a couple of you, though. Roland, you immediately just throw up.
No doubt I get hit by a skateboard or two on the way back because we've been going up and down the rim, right?
Well, you're
As I'm on
not
my
going
knees.
up and down
No, but-
necessarily. Like it, and when I say it's curved, I mean like the curve takes it's like a couple miles
It
across,
sounds like skateboarding paradise.
and this thing is
Everything is a hill.
Yeah.
Ever so slightly.
dozens of miles around. Like you can barely make
curve
out
of
downhill
the
everything.
earth.
Yeah.
Only
Yes.
the other way.
Yes, it's the opposite curve of the
Also
earth, curve of the
cornered
earth
back.
both ways, and then it goes two of the ways. It just goes all the way around.
This is
and
an
back.
unlockable map actually on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. It's amazing.
All the architecture around you seems vaguely gothic. In fact, a lot of the places seem to have fences out in front, often with spikes, very nasty looking spikes. Although they look pretty nice in this part of town anyway. You're not sure what they look like in other parts of town, considering other parts were called the Hive and the Lower Ward. You are now in the Clerk's Ward. You throw up immediately and take, how many?
A million.
Yeah, 10 die 20.
No.
And here's your new character.
That's all right. I've been thinking actually if I do roll a new character,
You
it's gonna
take-
be a goblin monk.
3 points of
Dry
psychic
heat
damage.
All right.
Chomp, you get really dizzy and like your mind can't quite comprehend. You also take those 3 points of psychic damage. like you're just kind of swaying on your feet as Roland just pukes right next to you.
I imagine the first thing we do when we open the doors, we just immediately look straight out for the horizon. Huh?
And there is no one. Just like the rest of you smartly kind of look down, slowly bring your gaze up and see this city kind of surrounding you in more ways than one.
Sigil, the city on the move.
You broke me there. Okay. Let's see.
The clerk's ward. If you lived here, you'd already be home.
A city of industry.
Like I said, no sky, blah, 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 blah. All right. I have too many notes here. A little
This
bit
note
of
just says kill them all.
a little bit of smog is around you. A little bit of rain is currently falling. You were not given any directions or a map. In fact, as they said, they didn't have one. But there are several people on the street. Some waving, it looks like some kind of pamphlets, as you might. Others with small stands seem to be selling food and
Professionally,
things like little carts on wheels that are posted up. You're in a nice looking little area here within the city, kind of a square that opens in front of this large building behind you.
Why can't we get rooms here? This is the pretty swank area. He wanted us to go down to this area where he said we couldn't even breathe.
He said it's better for primes.
Maybe that was like racist.
Maybe it was poisonous to him.
I was gonna ask that when he said it's poisonous areas. I was gonna ask if it meant poisonous to primes like us or poisonous to like imps or I don't know. But
We can't go back in because it's an administrative building and we've left, so it's definitely closed for the
Did you
day.
validate our parking? I mean, you can try going back in. It's a government building. It's open to the public.
there's way more to explore out here. I think we're home, you guys.
Look,
I don't even remember what that last place was called.
looking
wait
at
a little
Fuck the prime dimension.
Guys,
This place
I'm
is
not
like-
going back with you.
who would like to do a quick history check to see what they actually know previously about the idea of the city of
Too,
doors
but you have good history.
of Sigil?
I think I do good history.
I'm ready for sure.
I've read a book or two.
I have +4. I can try. I'm curious, little lizard.
Anybody who would like to?
Crom's just looking out for
Anybody?
Lady of Pain.
Always just trying
She's
to
got
get
to make
feet.
Crom, make
Lady
a
of Pain?
perception
Question
check
mark?
since you're actually looking out around.
I got
What is that?
18.
I think that's a 1, my friend.
Oh, either one.
You find her, you lock eyes.
Looking out about, it's a dizzying array of sights and sounds and smells. The smell is kind of, I don't know, smoky, but also acrid somehow, like acid almost.
Burning trash.
Almost, yeah.
Dumpster fire.
Like a Greyhound station.
And you see more species and races in 30 seconds than you have seen in your entire existence in Exandria. Just at one point, you see like somebody who looks vaguely human walking by alongside what looks like a greenish cloud of gas with several lights kind of flashing in it, and they seem to be conversing with each other. Just kind of walking by in front of you, and that's kind of the normal here. It seems like just you. There's something that looks like it might be a giant off the next block as you see a figure of shoulders and a head walking across above the level of a several-story building. Just
It's very progressive.
Yeah. They would be killing each other if we were back where we're from.
one thing you do see, you had a natural one.
Yeah.
Even with a natural one, and with all this visual input, you do see
Bill Murray
yes, exactly. Bill Murray just strolling down with a golf club, just
comes out of an alleyway and blinks at you, winks, and like disappears.
nobody will
Nobody
ever
will
believe you.
believe
You see two figures floating down the street with a good foot of air between the tips of their toes, which are just kind of hanging, and the ground. This kind of ashen hair spilling down their backs with these robes on, 4 horns sprouting out of their heads. who, as they converse with each other, don't actually, as their mouths open, there's no noise, but just these shimmering images appear in front of them. Something seems very, very odd about these individuals. They're a ways off, but everybody around them seems to kind of stay out of their way, and kind of any crowds that are nearby just kind of part for them.
Yeah.
You had an
Talking
18
about a really
on,
bad date. And
on
the
history.
images, you don't wanna see
Who else rolled a history check?
I got a 10.
You got a
I did. I also got a natural 1, but that brought it up to a 10.
So Cirithus remembers a lot more than any of you about this.
Good job.
The City of Doors.
My mind is just blown.
Any portal, and I mean that in the classic sense of portal, as in any window, door, the opening of a large cauldron, anything that you can pass through in the City of Doors might be a portal to another plane, world, dimension,
I'm not gonna
parallel universe, any number of
say it. I'm not
things.
going to say it.
Wow. We should start.
I'm not going to say it.
Don't go to that
Inanimate
district.
I'm not going to
The red light district is not listed on the official district. But in any case,
I'm gonna say
be careful
boy.
where you put.
That's where the ladies
Anything.
are. It's ladies,
the ladies
ward.
the ladies
That's
ward.
where you go.
That's what I was thinking. We gotta keep trying to keep
course
rolling
I'll
away
share
from
this
the
with
ladies
everybody.
ward.
Yeah.
Did y'all know?
You
put on a little hat and a tie.
You know that it's,
1933.
you can access anything. You will need, unless you can find another portal back to your specific
Dimension.
dimension / plane / part of your plane. I mean, because you're from a prime reality. There are other prime. You are aware anyway.
It's Amazon.
Thinking about this, that there are other.
There is that.
Terrible.
There's Optimus Prime.
There are other.
Optimus Prime.
There are
Prime
other
semen.
worlds that are considered
That's a
prime,
sailor.
even on your
Yeah.
plane.
Told you.
It's
They're
a-
just not on your world.
It's fine.
So you got to be careful what you walk through.
So every time we step through a door, we might want to just put a toe in.
Yeah. At the same,
Is it safer to just live in the street?
just
while
stick
we're
your
here?
head through, see what's there, and come back out. At the same time, this is considered, especially by the locals, but by some arcane practitioners as well, to be the center of all existence.
Cool.
At the very center of the Outlands, where magic isn't even supposed to work, somehow floating above the huge, supposedly infinitely tall spire of a mountain at the center of this place, there is this.
Turtles all the way down.
I was just about to
He
beat me
was.
to it.
Yeah.
He was.
It's a place where you can find just about anything, but also just about anything could find you.
Don't love that.
But Loth can't get here.
It's true. The prime deities or
We should just move here.
any deity
Yeah,
is
I like my god.
that is the
They're
other
back
thing.
there.
Based on what you
They're
knew
not- they're
already,
not back there either. So
based on what you knew already, but also what Kroon had just told you, gods cannot step foot into this realm. There is a ruler here, and you do know who that ruler is. It's called, at least, the Lady of Pain, who is rarely seen, but if you do see her, things have gone very badly.
What did Uzu do to have a run-in with her?
Did he ever run in with her?
I thought he said something where he was like, "I can't go back there." There was something.
He very well might have. I don't know. I don't
Is he a
remember.
deity? And that's
Is
why
he
you
a-
can't.
No, because he said he's been here.
Well, I don't believe anything he's ever said.
He's a vampire for sure,
And a
and
white
a
dragon.
dragular. A
Dragon.
Dracula.
He's a dragonler.
Dracula.
Yeah, a
I mean,
vampire.
Dracula already works pretty well for the mashup, I feel like.
A vampire was like, you know what? Ah! To a dragon, and the dragon was like, you got me there.
Yep.
Or a dragon was like, you know what? Never mind.
We're not gonna go there. For the
We're
same
not
reason
going
we didn't
there.
do the other joke.
Okay, so
You are left to drift in whatever this place is. There's people around. There's several. There's one person kind of calling from the side, like, city guides, whatever
Oh, yes,
you would
that.
need, please. We can give you.
That's awful convenient.
Yes.
Yes.
It's almost like somebody wrote it.
I mean,
It's in the script, man.
Isn't there the clerk's board where all
yeah,
the movies
surely
come
like
through? It
the
makes
tourist place would have city guides.
I'll
I mean,
take-
there's
to the
portals
stars.
otherwise in the city too.
I'll take 5,
Wait,
6
wait.
copies.
Let's walk up to him. What he's got. What do you have? I guess I'm probably turning back into Chomsky at this point.
It's just like melt. I love the idea that
My
he gives
sleeves
us
are all
6
too
board
long.
guides and they're all different.
I mean, that's not necessarily impossible.
Yeah, this
even
place
to
is
be
crazy.
true.
Here's 6
Um,
guides to the clerk ward. They don't look the same at all.
Walking up, this individual looks kind of, I don't know, like a lot of the people here, kind of humanish, but just a little off. In fact, as you walk up, the image of them kind of just shifts out of themselves a little bit, and like almost as if you're crossing your eyes, but you're not, and then kind of rejoins. And
Is that contagious?
every 3 to 15 seconds that happens, and it's totally random, and it's very disconcerting. But they say we have, we have some maps, we have guides. What are you looking for exactly?
What's the difference between a map and a guide?
Well, the guide will tell you where to go. A map will show you all the places you can go.
Do you know?
What are you looking for?
We need
One of each.
5 maps
Wait,
in case we get separated, you guys.
Yeah.
We also
And
need.
then 1 guide.
Do you know?
I mean,
Smith-
this is like.
Just give us 5 of each.
I mean, I think he's selling them.
I know we've got like tons of
I've
money.
got stuff we can trade.
Trade him
What kind of
Yeah.
currency do you take?
I mean, any type you have, really.
Yeah.
What do you
He
have?
speaks common. That's offensive, Crom.
What kind of currency
What
do you have?
kind of?
Is this a prime thing? I don't understand.
I'm American.
Oh, French fries and guns. Then that's what he wants.
Me too.
We take those. Yes, please.
Me American.
I have some
You
pamphlets.
foreigner.
I have some pamphlets that you might be interested in.
That is not currency. But
I have gold. Do you take gold?
we take gold,
How about a
please.
copper? Would you like a copper?
We take gold.
I have gold.
You pull a dead policeman out of your bag.
Here's 5 gold.
Wait, ask him how much it is
10
first. Wait, Crom, put your money away.
we've got too many.
Thank you.
It
And
slows us
10
down.
gold. I
You
need
said
5 of each. 5 guides.
And
5
change.
maps.
well, the map's easy enough. Every one of you has a map suddenly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Guides,
let's
however.
get my hand.
The guide is going to depend on what exactly you want to find.
It's
A guide cannot guide you if you do not tell them what you are looking for.
a Smith named Trollcoat.
In fact, he holds up what looks like similar to the pamphlets, like a kind of a trifold pamphlet.
It's just
but it's
blank,
entirely
he's gonna fill it
blank. There's nothing on it. Yes. And says you have to say first.
Psychic paper?
No, we're not looking for psychic
No,
paper.
don't get psychic paper.
No, that's what
As
it
you
is.
say psychic paper, the one he is holding suddenly has
He's going to
writing
charge us
on
for
it.
that.
Like that's where we go for psychic
Well,
paper.
there are not very many places, but there exist. Would you like this?
No.
Okay, I'll take that.
Wait. Oh God.
We're looking for a Smith named
That'll be-
Trollcoat.
Here's 5 gold.
As you're handing over the gold, it's just like thank you.
And
thank you.
change.
That's 10 gold. 15 gold.
So now we know where to get psychic
He
paper.
holds up another one of
Plus
the
7. It's
guides,
my own money.
and you see that there is now a simpler form of the map that he already showed you, showing you to the lower ward.
Is that for the psychic paper or for?
No, this is the psychic paper she already has.
That's for Trollcoat.
Yes, the psychic paper one has a similar simple map, but that takes you to the market ward.
Psychic
I know. We need
paper.
to know. We need
Here's-
to know where the market and the lower ward and
Here's a gold for the pamphlet.
mostly. Probably
Just breaking in this gold, just like
Does he give me the pamphlet for just 1 gold?
Okay, I've taken 15
Yes,
gold
okay.
off.
Yeah, it's
you
obviously we're obviously way overpaying.
could- This is exactly like when I went to Scotland with a bunch of children.
In fact, several other vendors have started to gather around.
Like yeah.
They had no idea
Like
that
somebody's selling street meat over here, next on your left,
like
and
a
over
corn
here
could
on
be
the
worth
right.
$10, so they were just
Somebody
like
has
giving
these
away
little,
money
it looks like
straight.
snow
It's
globes
terrible.
that they're selling, and they're like,
I don't know. I kind of feel like that snow globe might be a universe inside there or something.
Everybody's like,
As you say that, they go,
maybe. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Only a goal.
This place is great.
as you look at it, it's just a regular snow globe.
Do you have a guide to the Temple of the Sun God? I know he can't come here, but surely somebody must worship him here.
Looking at you, think,
There's like one.
they seem to
You
be
are
I have
here.
so many
picking
things
up
that I
several
want directions
blank
to. So many things.
guides just and looking at the blank guide and putting it down and just finds one that says ah, and it suddenly has some writing on it and just
Thank you.
and it seems very simple, but it's in the Hive Ward.
Okay, I want to
the
go here.
market.
The Hive Ward, by the way, looking at the main map you have, the streets there are more twisted than anywhere else, and there is definitely something going on there.
And
There's a
Mr.
temple to the Sun God.
Ooh, I don't
have
know what
fun.
gingers are here.
Well,
Excuse
All of
me.
them.
I mean, looking at them, it might be Mr.-ish.
Excuse me.
Not sure.
We didn't ask his name.
Entity.
Excuse me, individual.
Where's the spire?
We don't.
I want to
Looking
avoid it.
straight up,
I
they
want
just
to avoid it.
they just point.
I'm
and
guessing
looking
it's
up
that
where they're
thing that
pointing, there is looking out across, like up and across to the other side of the city.
Oh, I'm falling over again.
You see, and these two suddenly, but you see this. Just, it's almost like the very top of a very acute triangle that just ends slightly off from where you're standing, your left,
Oh,
in what
that
looks like a
triangle.
very sharp point, and just slightly widens as it goes out.
Okay, just
Good.
Yeah.
just wanted to know where not to go.
Good salesperson, I have a question. If we ask for a guide to a person, would the guide move if the person moved?
Guide move if the person moved.
Like, would we be able to see the person moving around on the guide as he did?
Yeah.
This is
And to which they say, "I'm sorry, all guides are final at time of sale."
I don't see how that's. What is that supposed
I
to
don't
mean?
know
Is
how
a yes or
this
no
works.
question?
I don't know how the world
I mean,
works.
it's probably
I
not.
think it would give us the path to them at that moment.
Yeah.
You could have said that. It's much clearer.
What about I say wasn't clear, and at that point they kind of apart, like your vision seems to just with them.
Look, this is our first maybe day here. I don't know how things work without the sun, so I am apologizing for offending you.
Fucking primes. Just go to
That's
where
what's-
the guide tells you to go if you want to find it. Otherwise,
Okay,
you'll be fine. Thank you for the money,
thank you.
Thank you for the lots
It's not even worth it anymore. I'm out.
especially since I did not set a price.
It just says closed for day. Go to the bank.
Retired.
Gone fishing.
Okay.
We win.
I guess so.
Right.
It's at the lower ward is where we gotta go to
No,
get.
I got to go to the high ward.
What's there?
The sun god temple.
I'm sure it's great in
We
this city
need a
too.
map first.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
have the
it's,
map.
Yeah.
it's already like
We
a
all have
half
a map.
Yeah.
past
Oh.
anti-peak, and I'm exhausted.
You have no idea what time it is.
Just gonna hold my medallion. It's about
0 o'clock.
where
And we're
I
gonna
think it's
end there
actually
for this
inside.
week because I have stuff prepared, but I expected to go to the Underdark and you didn't.
Wait, did it? Psych.
You never know.
But you love how we keep you on your toes.
You know what? Luckily, I had built out a lot of stuff for Sigil. So,
And I am like super excited about Sigil.
I mean, you can
Yeah.
find anything here, but it's really dangerous.
That's what I'm excited about.
The reason I asked about the guide was I was like, if we can see where the person is at a given time, we ask for one for the Lady of Pain and just try not to
Oh
be
yeah, that was a yeah.
No, they're not that magical.
I think she'll be easy to spot.
Yeah, but you never know.
It'll
We're
be
not
like
especially
everybody will
interested.
be running away from her. She's got swords flying around her.
Which you know right there would be too much
you paint
for
some
you
new
and me
stuff
to
there?
not pull out to do something.
No,
else.
these are just some old.
Well, no, I
things
meant
had.
the there seems
Yeah.
to be something with a club and then some other ones by the rings.
Oh no, these I've had for a while. This is my bugbear. This is very
Hugbear.
fun. A hugbear. His name is Hugbear, yes. And then of course there's Minotaur. Just stuff sitting around. And then there's some of these that are just the pewter figures that they sold at Christmas at Walmart,
Oh yeah.
which were pretty good.
Yeah, we got some of those.
I enjoyed them.
Yeah, if you guys have ever watched The Good Place,
What is that? Is it a movie or a TV show?
it's a TV series that had, I don't know, how many seasons, 4 or 5 seasons.
Kristen Bell and Ted Danson.
They go to the afterlife,
Uh,
and
Don't spoil it like
it's
I did.
funny.
They deal with a lot of philosophy in that show.
oh, I probably like it. What's it called again?
The Good Place.
Okay.
It's really funny.
Is it on Netflix?
A lot of philosophy.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it is, yeah.
Good.
I think we watched it on Hulu, didn't we? Or-
Oh, well,
I think it might be.
It might be. I think it's on
Embarrassed
Netflix
that It took me
too.
this
Okay.
long to think of a Tiamat connection.
Yeah,
We got there in the end.
I wouldn't have gotten there.